But anyway, here we go.
Let's do this.
Modi orete whānau, no mai hoki mai, welcome back to the practice run. Hey, your boy Hype today, I'm just going to freestyle this intro. This is your frontline pass to the heart of sports action, and if you are a New South Wales fan, welcome to the show. And if you ain't, hard luck, welcome anyway. We welcome all of y'all to the winner's circle. Finally got something to cheer about this season. Oh, yeah. Oh, y'all. And this is brought to you by 99 Dreams, inspiring others to chase their dreams. With your host, Tukoerangi and Rawiri. We're diving deep into the thrilling world of the NRL and rugby league today, and who knows where the gang gonna take us tomorrow, because from their sideline to the try line, baby, we got y'all covered.
So strap in as we tackle the big plays, the game-changing moments, and the stories that define legends. Whether you're a seasoned vet or this is your first hit-up, the practice run is for everyone. Every run, every tackle, every win. Experience the rush with us.
With exclusive insights, couch analysis, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm just that damn hype. And a touch of humour, the practice run is here to keep you entertained, informed, and part of our practice squad, because here, every practice run gets us one step closer to their state of origin. Yeah.
The practice squad, where every listener is MVP, powering our play every episode, every day. And we, of course, would like to give thanks to 99 Dreams for powering our passion. Now, let's kick off this fucking glorious episode, brother.
Yeah. All right. Man, I don't even know where we're going to start. Look, we're just going to break down the game. It's so hard to break down this game, man, because it was perfection personified in the art form of an 80-minute game played on a rugby field with 26 men. Can you believe that? 26 men on the field at one time, and then a few players on the bench. This was just a magical game from start to finish, from finish to end, from game 1 to game 2 to game 3. This, ladies and gentlemen, are what dreams are made of. You could not script an episode better than this. When you think about a TV show that just keeps you engaged from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, we had the whole world going, what if? What if New South Wales had 13 men? Would the story have been different? You know, what if Queensland scored more tries? Would it have been, the writing on the wall for New South Wales? And then game 2, two worlds collided. The coach finally got the team that he wanted. Because remember, there were injuries in game 1 that held out the likes of a Mitchell Moses, that held out the likes of a Dylan Edwards. So there's those things at play. So we're going to dive into all of that. We've got our team of the game 3. We've got our team of the series. We've got our 2 men of the series. We're going to go with 1 forward, 1 back. And of course, we still got to get in to our round 20, because it's round 20, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy. We've come so far. And yet we've still got so far to go. We realized midway through, when we were off camera creating our team of the game, that we were just vibing so much. There was just so much feedback on the game when we were just picking these players that we were like, shit, we should probably just press record and get into it. But before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is? Do we even want to play this today, man? Like, we're both on a high right now. Do we just skip this shit and roll straight into it?
Get into it, mate.
Sorry.
Get into it.
Game over. It's a tie. For the first time ever, we got a tie on the show. Can you believe that? Anyway, where do we start? Game 3. Let's go. Well, let's preface it just in case someone be living under a rock. This is their first time stumbling on this podcast, and they don't know what the hell is going on. These 2 lads are just hyped for no reason. Well, like I said, game 1, Joseph Suaalii gets sent off in the 7th minute of the game. New South Wales are now facing an uphill battle. For 72 minutes, they're playing 12v13. And in that 12v13 match, we still scored 2 tries, and they only score, 36 points? 30-something points? Was it 34?
I think so.
So in that time, when they scored 34 points, they had the mismatch. But we still had the intensity. We had the mana. We had that integrity from game 1. In game 2, we scored what Queensland scored against 12 men. We scored that in 40 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. That is what you call too hearty. Albeit in the second half, Queensland came back and they scored 3 tries to our 1 in the second half, right? And they were always claiming, "Oh, we won the second half." Who won the game? We did, in Melbourne. And then that set up the grand finale. All of you fellas that watched a million seasons and episodes of Game of Thrones just to be let down in the season finale, well, you know what it's like to be a Queenslander. You know what it's like to be a Queensland fan in 2024, because, ladies and gentlemen, that's exactly what you must be feeling. Because game 3, it was set up to be the pinnacle. It's a New South Wales, Queensland, 1 win each. This next win makes them the champion. Now we got to do it at the home of the Queenslanders, in the heart of Queenslanderville, where so many Queensland teams have hoisted their shield over the crying faces of New South Wales fans and players. But not this year, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's for the 3rd time, or is it the 4th? It's not that many. In Origin history, New South Wales lift that trophy as champions because they won on the field in Queensland. Not because they won games 1 and 2 outside of Queensland, lose game 3 in Queensland and get to raise the shield there because that's where the end of the series is. No, we won it at their home. We rubbed their faces in it. They try to bring the intensity to our team. Knock, who's there? Not you, motherfucker. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the preface of the story. Now let's get into the technicalities of this game, because boy, oh boy, it was a nail biter, that's for sure. So I'll dive into it like this too. Let's talk about that first half. What were some key moments that stuck out to you? What do you think gave you an inkling that this was going to be a hell of a game?
Probably that start, actually. I mean, you know what, they got that little breakaway on the left side with Luai, then Best gets that little break, tackled from behind, knocks the ball over. You know, if he doesn't lose the ball, there's probably a try in the first minute.
Yeah.
And then I think Maroons almost scored as well. So it was just a hectic start. And man, that first 10, 15 minutes was just breakneck pace. It was so fast. Hits were coming left, right, and centre. Paddy Carrigan. Harking out. It was like he had a personal mission, personal vendetta to take it to New South Wales forward pack, and he did almost single-handedly. Fotuaika and Kafusi had their shots, and it was just back and forth. I mean, you had Angus Crichton go off after the first 2 minutes with he had to go for HIA, but it seemed like a bit of a stinger at his neck, and that brought Mitchy Barnett. No one thought he'd be on after 30 seconds, and he came on and he didn't look out of place, man. He looked good,
bro. He did not miss a beat.
He looked solid, and it was just super back and forth. You were kind of waiting to see who was going to make the first mistake, have the first real chance. And New South Wales did, and then got to give it to Queensland, man. They defended well in that first half.
Mm-hmm.
They defended really well. They defended multiple sets on their line. It's funny, did you notice that, in the scan there were maybe 5 dropouts? And I think New South Wales regathered their dropout every time.
Yep.
And Queensland managed to get a couple of their ones back. And only one of them kicked long, and that was DCE. But the rest were all short on that 10. DCE got the kick wrong a few times. They went a bit long. But Luai's, man, his ones were on target, and it really made a difference. Gone are the days where was it a goal line dropout is a guaranteed you're going to get the ball back? Nowadays, they almost feel 50-50.
Yeah.
It's really changed the game, and teams aren't afraid to go for it anymore because it's no longer a penalty. Yeah, you just get the ball. It's just to play the ball. So that's a good rule change, I reckon. It makes teams more aggressive. They go for it. They try to get the ball back. But yeah, man, that first half just back and forth. I honestly thought New South Wales had the better of the run. So I was a little bit worried they couldn't cross the line. Again, full credit to that Queensland defence, but New South Wales, they had to find a way to score, and they just couldn't. I think they had like 60% of the ball, pretty much all the territory. I don't think Queensland even got more than like 2 or 3 sets in New South's 20. That's how crazy. And then to still go into halftime up 2-0, with the Lenu penalty pretty much on halftime. Not the greatest play he's ever made, and just gifted them the lead. So you would go into the half thinking Queensland kind of had the advantage. They were on the back foot most of that first half, and to go into halftime with a lead, you had to take that. In New South Wales, you could kind of feel it, watching it was like, oh man, they had all their ball. They got turned away every time. Like, I wanted to come back to bite them, because you knew eventually momentum would shift. But man, that was a hell of a first half. That's one of the better first halves that I've seen. Probably the best first half I've seen, or maybe just halves in general. In the NRL this year was just so good. Not that many tries, but there were just so many moments and near moments, It kind of just left you on the edge of the seat, right? This whole game, you're pretty much on the edge of your seat the whole time. And it wasn't a high-scoring one, and it was just super back and forth. It's all about moments, and there were just so many near moments it could have been, and players making great defensive reads, defensive plays to stop it. It was really, really cool to watch, man. That first half had everything. What about you? What do you think of that first half?
Man, that first half had me feeling some things, brother. I was like, surely we can re-up on this defense a little bit, because we had them pinned down in their half for a long time, but once they found their foot, they started making those digs into our hole, into our defense, real easy. So I thought Queensland really scrambled a lot better than what we could on defense at times. But I think it was our consistency. Yes, there'd be sometimes that they'd hold us back in our own 30. We'd kick it down, but we'd come right back and hold them back down there as well. And then we'd slowly make our way back down again. So it wasn't about winning it all in one play for us. And it kind of felt like it was that for Queensland. Whereas New South Wales, it felt like there was a certain kind of approach they were taking to it through the forwards. What's the word? I think in retrospect, they try to go too much through the forwards in attacking positions. They tried so much to get Liam Martin on the front foot, Crichton on the front foot, when often they could have decoyed them, got them running that shallow line, flick it wide through Crichton or through Best, and then flick it out to the wingers and get the wingers over for some easy tries, or even decoy them, cut back in as your ball player on second or third tackle when you're down in that attacking set. There were opportunities missed there from New South Wales going that route. But to their credit, that attacking style that they had in the first half kind of set them up in the second half of that Mitchell Moses try, albeit through a little bit of broken play, but a lot of those gaps came through how they ran those sets. So people were making sure that they were near or nearabouts to where their forwards were. And, previous to that, a few sets before, Mitchy Barnett was pretty far down that edge. Mm-hmm. But all in all, that first half, man, it really felt tit for tat. Like, no one was budging on defense. No one was budging. There were many times we could have kicked for two. They could have kicked for two, but it was, no, let's try and get this try. Two's just not worth it right now. Boom. Head-on collisions going nowhere. Set for set, we might get a restarted set. But, man, it was intense. And Best and Gay Guy, I was looking forward to that matchup. Man, Gay Guy will look ineffective against his teammate, bro. Look, guess who's getting someone's lunch all week this week, man? They don't call him simply the best for nothing. I've been high on him for weeks. So, yeah, did well, especially considering how well Latrell played in Game 2. I guarantee, had Bradman not balled out the way he did, a lot of criticism would have come his way oh, if Latrell was healthy, blah, 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 blah. What it does is it means we've got a lot of depth in New South Wales. It means there's a lot of selection drama, I guess, in terms of who do you go with next year. You're going to have a healthy Turbo, hopefully a healthy Latrell, hopefully a healthy Best. You'll have Campbell Graham back in the mix. Obviously, Critter. Where do you go? You know, maybe Teddy's playing good enough to sort of get his hand thrown in there somewhere. Katoni Staggs is a name that's still getting thrown around. You got Jesse Ramian. So, you know, there's a lot of depth in that centre position that, you know, anyone could come in and do a good job. But, you know, Bradman had a tough, you know, couple of carries. Like I said, could have broke away, scored some big tries off of both those plays where he lost that ball, actually. But, you know, a better man, or a lesser man, sorry, would have dropped their head, sulked, and had a pretty terrible performance. But he backed that up time and time after on defense. Every time he dropped the ball, who'd be first man up to get in that tackle? It'd be Bradman, man. And he was the one that got Daly Cherry Evans to knock that ball on. He looked like Wolverine out there, the way he just jumped, slapped that ball out of his hand. They don't call him the best for nothing. And to be fair, when the trail goes down, you got to get the best in to replace him. And no one better than Bradman. So that was a great first half.
I just want to talk about the refereeing real quick.
Yeah.
The first half. Honestly, I thought he was going to lose that game. You know, game 3, emotions are high. Anytime they get together, especially in the first 5-10 minutes, is like the time to set the tone.
Yeah.
And he pretty much let them like go at each other, you know, within reason. So he let the first few go. But by doing that, he kind of like allowed what happened at the 30th minute to happen. You know?
Yep.
Obviously talking about the little scuffle between, well, DCE and Luai and how that led to Nanai coming in, and they pretty much ended up by the Queensland bench, and then To'o was there. I was a little bit disappointed in New South Wales, and it took them so long to get there. You know?
Yeah.
Like, there was pretty much those two by themselves with the whole Queensland bench and the Queensland players coming over. It took Cameron Murray, who had just got subbed off or interchange, who was on the sideline, not even in the game. He like ran over to go help them, you know, which I think they were saying if you're on the bench and get involved, it's a send off, not meant to be a sin bin. I think that's what DCE was like up in arms about. Yeah, he was like, that's a send off. Like he can't do that. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what he was saying. You know, like at that point, he had no choice. It was kind of taken out of his, or the ref had, you know, out of his hands. Like,
yeah,
you pretty much knew someone was going to get sent. You pretty much knew it was going to be one from each team. Even though, like, it would have been better to just be like, hey, that's it, last warning.
Yeah,
but
it would have just kept going.
So, like, I thought he would have went the other way, like the first two, like set the tone early, like, hey, no, we're not doing that this game. Like, they'll be coming in, they'll be rushing in or else.
Yeah.
But I thought because he let it go, like let it carry on a little bit too far, that moment was kind of inevitable. Then obviously, you know, Nanai gets sent off, and then because like Murray's not even in the game
at the moment,
gets sent off, and then Isaiah's like, wait, well, who gets sent off then? And the fact that they got to choose, he's like, you choose. You would at least think that the other team would get to choose. Be like, hey, what? He's not even on. Like, what? How's that? And then the bro Ola Koatu, look at in his number ones, you know, just trying to like pull players apart. He got kicked to the sheds because they're like, nah, you involved, not even playing. Like, imagine you get suspended like one game and you didn't even play. Like, fucking hell. But yeah, I thought the refereeing was. I don't know. I'm not a fan of Ashley Klein anyway.
Nah, neither.
Don't like him.
He missed a lot of forward passes on both sides of the ball. I was watching that. I was like, that's forward. Even one of the last few passes to Payne Haas, I'm like, that's forward.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about that real quickly. Was not a fan of it.
I'll
So
touch
he could
on,
have.
I think, why not a lot of New South Wales players got in there, because that was one of the things they tried not to do, was to get involved with all of that, because you're playing in Queensland. You're going to be sent off more often than a Queenslander would in Queensland if you're involved in those scuffles. So it was Jake Trbojevic's main point as a captain to make sure that the boys didn't get involved in that kind of stuff.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, well, hey, it would have probably sent half the team off had they all jumped in there. Um, yeah, like you said, there was moments there that he could have called that shit off a lot earlier. However, did you notice in the second half, the first instance of that, he's like, nah, cut that out now, or you're going off straight away, penalty. So it was good to see that he tried to regain that control and really put his authority down. So it made for a better contest in that second half. And to be fair, either way this game went, I wasn't going to be mad. Like, I lost my $10 at the TAB on this game, but to be honest, I didn't even care. Like, it was such a good game. I wasn't even looking at who needed the tackles, who needed the run meters, who needed the tries. I just was like, yo, this game it's on. From start to finish, it was a thriller. Now, more on that second half. That second half was just the battle of fatigue. Who can play fatigued the longest and come up with the lollies at the end? And it looked, for all money, I was certain that as soon as Ponga came on, game changer. He's going to find those little creeks and crevices and force his hand in there and link with Reece Walsh and do everything that you'd expect those two to do. But there were times, I think it was Harry Grant and whoever else was servicing from dummy half, they set up shape on that left edge where Ponga was, and they went right. I'm like, you got shape on the left. Why are we going right and trying to force something down Gay Guy's in? Because Gay Guy's getting bested by the best. And Cobbo's just getting slammed by To'o. And Crichton's there. He's just negating everything coming near him. He's just like on a line of defense in himself. So I wondered why the ball didn't come down that edge. And I guarantee, if they watch that footage back, they're going to see that shape and they're going to go, yeah, shit. If we just took time to look and move that ball that way, even if you just dummy look there, shift the ball and get it into the hands of Dearden, Ponga, Walsh, Hammer, Holmes. Hey, those are try scorers right there. All those names are try scorers, especially Hammer. He, I thought, didn't quite get involved enough as he thought he would until late in that second half. That's when he sort of started to fire up, and I was thinking, you've been pretty quiet. You've had like bits of, what do they call it? Bits of brilliance here and there, but overall you were fairly quiet. And I think most of his highlights came as a human wall stopping Lomax from contesting the ball with Holmes. Because I guarantee, if some of those got called illegal and he had to stop doing that, Lomax gets a double. No way Holmes is out jumping Lomax for that ball. He is a freak when it comes to that kick chase. I'm low-key scared to see Parramatta next year if they keep the Moses-Lomax combo going, man. That's going to be good. Surely they play them on the same edge, right? They just need a great centre inside Lomax to just service him that ball. Great defensive centre, similar to Stephen Crichton, who I thought had an outstanding game. Not offensively, but defensively, man. The reason Hammer was so quiet, because he had a critter. There was a critter in the shed locking that Hammer down, baby. Hoo-wee. I don't know what it is about them Crichtons, man. They must be related. Both of them, bruh. They just a wall of defense. Oh, man. Bulldogs fans, you must be loving that game from Crichton, bruh, because he really was. He reminded me of like a prime Kawhi Leonard. Ain't nothing getting past him, man. And if it is, it's probably just a slip tackle and someone else is close enough to make that covering tackle. There was just never a moment there where it looked like Critter was out of control, where he didn't have the Queensland offense where he wanted them. he was like, what do they call that thing? The shepherd. And Queensland were his sheep. He was just shepherding them where he needed them to go. And man, he was just, yeah, he was phenomenal. That was an outstanding performance from him. It was an outstanding series from him, to be honest. And I wouldn't be mad if next season they made him captain just so they've got a captain on the field at all times and make Yo vice captain. Because, I mean, what is the point of having your captain play 20 minutes? And I even think they like generously left him out there for at least 20. How many minutes did he play in total? Is it about 24?
I'll just have a look at it now.
But yeah, I just want to say I feel for Jake. Like that's got to be tough. But like, hey, maybe that's why he's the captain. Because that's such a selfless act to be able to sit for 60 minutes on the sideline watching your team win State of Origin. Because if that was me and I was in that position, I could never be that man. I want to be out. I want to be part of that. Win or lose, I want to be part of that. I don't want to be the reason they won because I'm on the bench. Like, so in all honesty, outside of like the actual performers of the series, I've got to give the hats off to Jake for that selfless act to be able to sort of just say, yeah, okay, for the better of the team, I'm going to sit on the bench for, what's that, 60, for 3 hours he sat on the bench over the series. But that's got to be tough, man. What are your thoughts and opinions around that?
I think if Cameron Murray was available for game 1, he probably would have been the captain and not Jake. I think because he wasn't there, then yeah, Jake was like pretty much Jake was forced to be captain, or not forced, but I think he made his mind up that Yo was always coming off the bench.
Is Jake captain next year?
It'll be interesting. I don't know, man. I mean, you won a series with him. Why not? But I think it might be Murray.
Yeah, like, do you sit down with him now and have that conversation?
Nah, man. You leave that till next year. And you leave that to let them enjoy the moment as it is. But yeah, Jake, I mean, played the first 20 minutes of each game, then didn't come back on. Kind of filled a role. He did his job and then let the boys do it. I mean, you got some good forwards that are coming off their bench. They did their job.
What was his carries like? What was his stats?
Wasn't that many. He played 23 minutes. Game 3. And where is it? Let me just slide across. Where are you?
Yeah. Just
3 runs, 19 meters. He had 3 runs.
3 runs for 19 meters, 29 minutes. He had how many runs? He made 37 meters. 29. Oh no, that's the wrong person.
Yeah, you look at wrong one.
5 runs, 37 meters, 13 post-contact meters, 5 hit-ups, no passes, 26 tackles. Oh no, he played 4 minutes.
What? Which one are you looking at?
Jake. He played in stint 1. He did 24 minutes and 52 seconds, and then he did 4 minutes. When did he come on for stint 2?
No, you're looking at the wrong game, man.
Oh, what? Fuck.
You got to be looking at the wrong game.
Yeah. Why don't they put it the other way around? Why do they go 1, 2, 3? Aren't they supposed to go 3, 2, 1? From bloody. Are the stats even up yet? Yeah. Here we go. Hold on. My bad. Far note. Here we go. Where is he? 23 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one. Yeah.
17 fantasy points. 3 runs, 19 meters, 7 post contact, 3 hit ups, 3 passes, 6 receptions. What's that passes to run ratio? What the hell? 15 tackles. Okay. To be fair, he made the same amount of tackles as Spence in less time. How many meters did Spence make? 96. Yeah, wow. Tough day at the office for Big Jakey, but yeah, like I said, man's got a big heart. Over to the man of the match's performance, Dylan Edwards. I thought from about midway through the second half when it was locked at 4-2, I thought if we get this game, he's got to be the man of the match. Like, he's been everywhere. Every time that ball's gone up, he's caught it without batting an eye. Contested, uncontested. And he's trying to find ways through that defense. He's trying to find those holes. And he just kept coming. And I was like, bruh, this dude is crazy. And this is what New South Wales has been missing out on the past, however many years, 4 or 5 years. I think he's been probably the best fullback in the comp for the past however many years, playing in that Penrith system. We were just unfortunate to have a coach that tried to do the pick and stick mentality. I don't think it works in New South Wales. I think New South Wales, there's just too many players that are in form at different times. And it's a lot easier to go, let's just pick the most informed player in their position at this particular moment, which is what Madge has done. He picked up Best after Latrell went down because Best has been the informed centre at the moment for New South Wales players. If Edwards was healthy, man, he would have been fun to watch in game one. Tedesco did a great job regardless, and he's doing great at Clubland. Maybe even rejuvenated his career slightly, just because he doesn't have that extra stress of having to play Origin back up and have all that less. Which maybe that's why the Roosters are doing so well, because he knows that consistently he just comes in week after week. We got Roosters. He doesn't have to tap out, go New South Wales, and come back and do Roosters stuff. So yeah, far out. Wicked game from Dylan Edwards. So yeah, huge congratulations to the man of the match. What a debut series for him. Unreal performance, but you can't expect any less from Dylan Edwards. We're used to seeing this from him. We're used to seeing this performance from the likes of a To'o, from a Luai. That's another thing I want to say too, is before I hand it to you to talk about Dylan, but I just want to say that this was the most mature I've seen Luai play. And as much as it sucks to see Nathan Cleary out of the game, I think his injury's done a lot for Luai's mentality. Like, he's gone from just being that hothead that just gets under your skin, gets in your face, and like tries to start a fight and probably gives up a penalty, to someone who's doubling down on defense, who isn't giving away that, because that scuffle him and Cherry Evans had, young him probably would have went in head first, but he just kind of palms up, put his head down. He got smacked around, so he just gave him one back. I thought that showed a lot of maturity from Luai, and just the way he conducted himself on the field, very mature. Very impressed with his performance throughout this series. Everyone's saying next season, is it Moses and Cleary for the 6 and 7 for this New South Wales? I don't think Luai is done yet, but playing for the Tigers isn't going to help. But I think, he's. I think he's going to give Burton a good run towards the end of the season for their Dally M6 jersey. I think Burton's definitely well in advance at the moment. But, hey, if there's anyone that can chance their arm at it, it could be Luai, because you've got no Munster and all the other sixes are kind of been inconsistent. So definitely got Burton at the top, followed by Luai at second for 5/8. What are your thoughts on the man of the match, bro?
He's just solid. I think I talked about it a while back. Like, there's not much difference between his best games and worst games. And he's always consistently at like an 8. even a 9, you just know what you're going to get. He's always in the right place on those long kicks. He returns the ball hard, gets their sets rolling. We talked about in the previous show, right? Like, it's going to be the back 5 or pretty much the back 3 of New South Wales and how they can get their sets going up against the razzle-dazzle of the back 3 of Queensland. And I think that showed today, man, because their starts were always good. And the large reason why they dominated that first half was because Edwards was catching a ball on his 20. By the time he finally got tackled, he's already close to halfway. Then Lomax would take his run up, pretty much get them to halfway, then To'o. And that gives you 3 players to, have a go, see what you can do. So he's just solid, man. So safe. Great player all around. I want to say you knew something was different about this game in that second half when, what was it? Like a couple minutes in, New South Wales get the penalty for the late shot on Mitchell Moses, and they opt to take the 2 from the sideline. It's not a gimme, you know what I mean? And I remember I put in the chat, I was like, I do not like this at all. I don't like this. But then when he made that kick, I absolutely loved it. Man, that kick never looked like missing too. I was like, man, the balls to take the 2-pointers there, nail it. That was, you knew the game was different. I mean, It started running through my mind, man, is it even going to be a try? Is the final score going to be 3-2? Like someone hits a drop goal, you know what I mean? It was heading that way. And it wasn't that the teams weren't trying, it's just the defense was there. Everyone knew what was on the line and they weren't willing to budge. So it was just, you just knew it was different when they took that option. But man, he nailed that kick. I have to give it to him. He absolutely nailed it. And then, come with the 60th minute mark, pretty much both teams are fatigued. Reece Robertson maybe a little bit more fatigued than some, looking like he needed to come off. Harry Grant had just come back on to finish the game, I believe. Sees Reece out, no, not straight at marker, runs straight at him. And Robson wants to make it worse by pretty much grabbing his face straight out in front. That was always going to be a 2-pointer, and that was, I was worried at that point, if I'm being honest. I was like, oh, here we go, it's happening again. Because at that point, they had all the momentum, and Ponga had just came on. I remember, when Ponga was getting on, I didn't like it at all. I was putting in the group chat, man, I'm scared. If there's one player I'm scared of in that team, it's Ponga. He just can make something out of nothing. Yeah, I felt as though they didn't really put him in a position to be successful. His first play, he ran at the line, which I was like, oh yeah, if he's gonna run like that, we'll be okay. We can handle that. It's when he ball plays, changes his speeds, changes his angles, and it's like, oh, okay, this is not this Ponga. Really, I really didn't like that Ponga. And I was hoping he wouldn't come on, but they had the momentum, they brought on the X Factor, gave up the penalty, you got up 4-2, and it's like, oh no. But then, things happen, things change. I think it was Connor Watson come on, played a little bit different. Angus cried, and again, goes to the line, flicks it out to Watson, flicks it back to Luai. And that was because DCE had rushed in. If you watch the replay, DCE rushes, he rushes in anyway, but he rushes in, and because I think it was Crichton had passed the ball, he runs towards Connor. Flicks it to Luai, and then that's where that gap was, because Luai just looks up and all he sees is Nana, right? And Gagai. So he's like, oh, well, I know I can take Nana. All I have to do is hold Gagai. Splits them, goes down. I was wondering where the bloody hell To'o was. I was like, To'o, where are you? Where's the support? He ran so far ahead. Obviously, you see Welsh coming across, so he slows down. And I was like, man, if best bobbles this pass, if he drops this, I don't know if we can come back from it. pass it to him though. Sure enough, he bobbles the damn ball, but he gets it, holds off one teammate, Gagai. Ponga comes across, laid a ball, his other teammate, scores the try, and just couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man, that really shifted momentum. And then again, Lomax this time from the other sideline. To have the balls to just kick it and to kick it that way. I don't think he hooked it back, like from the right side, from the left side. Normally they like curve it from like the right in.
Yeah.
Right? But he did it reverse. He went the other way. And I was like, how the hell did he do that?
That's his preferred side too. So that's how he likes to kick it.
Yeah, but I thought he likes to kick it that like a reverse.
It's weird, but it's accurate.
He nailed it, all right. And, they gave them the lead. You're up 8-4. Me and the nephew were like going crazy.
Bro, it got me off the couch. I was like,
we were on. And then literally like 2 minutes later, now they're back on a 20 momentum going that way. Hammer slow out of marker, gives it to Moses. He sees there's not a secondary marker, so he just pretty much takes one step right, takes one step left, hard step right. Later Grant gets past them, Hammer's too far, splits them, leaves him 1-on-1 with Reece Welsh, and they're like, nah, ball, not today. Gets around him and pretty much sealed the deal. You just felt it. That momentum was there. It was all this, and it kind of broke the spirit of Queensland. Not to say that they didn't keep trying, because Queensland spirit, they always try, but you just knew. I think everyone knew.
It sucked the life out of the stadium, man.
Yeah, it really did, eh? And that was pretty much all she wrote. That last, 10 minutes, it was just like, nah, they're just running out of time. Like, they have to score twice.
Yeah.
Hopefully get at least one kick, so you knew it was at least a draw, and then maybe have the second kick to win it. But they were too fatigued, playing wrong side of the field. All of it was coming out of their own half. And I just thought the boys deserve it. They deserve it. They played better. I thought they had the better side. They controlled the ball better, had more position, more territory. Yeah. All that adds up at the end of the day, and I really thought they deserved it, and good on them, man. It was a great victory.
Amazing win. Amazing win, man. And it's going to be hard to see who backs up after that performance, because it was physical for all of them involved. I wouldn't be surprised if you barely see anyone back up. I feel like a few of those Penrith boys will back up. We saw Luai and that listed to back up. I'm pretty sure they'll probably back up. Not too sure. Maybe Payne, he might back up. Carrigan might not. Walsh might not. He looked like he was carrying a few niggles throughout that game. Ponga probably will. Best probably will. Gagai, he probably should. He got outgunned in that game. Crichton, I mean, he deserves a rest, but he probably won't. And that's both of them, both the Crichtons. Martin, he looks like he might need a rest. Robson, Reece, he deserves a rest. He played some intense minutes throughout that series. So he probably deserves a rest. I'm trying to think of Queenslanders. Cotter probably could do with a rest. Collins is probably the only one out of everyone that could probably be rested and be sweet as. The team will still win. Or still be there or thereabouts. I'm not sure about Harry Grant, whether or not he'll back up. He normally does. But that was quite a physical game for him. I low-key think Ben Hunt didn't pass his HIA. But they just put him out anyway because, he looked gone. Why would you put your head there anyway? What doing, cousin? You learned that at Pee Wee League. Don't put your head there.
He put his head on the inside, eh?
Yeah, his body was outside. He comes inside, gets schmucked by a knee, and then his own teammate comes through.
Boom! Recipe for disaster. That one.
Idiot. But let's dive into Game 3's top performers. These are our 1 through 13, our team of Game 3. And boy, was it a game. New South Wales dominated. At fullback, wait, did you write these down too? Or just
Not
me?
really, but I kind of remember.
All right, you do the forwards. I'll do the backs. At fullback, because I already started on the backs. Yeah. At fullback, we've got the Dylan Edwards. Reece Walsh, he just wasn't there. He wasn't there tonight, and yeah, unfortunate. But you know, that's the way the Broncos season has been, though. And I was kind of saying in the chat, outside of Payne Haas and Patrick Carrigan, the rest of the Broncos boys probably could have been like back at Bronco land, and you would have been fine without them in those jerseys. In all honesty, they haven't done enough at club level to warrant getting that Queensland jersey. So yeah, on the wing we've got New South Wales, Zach Lomax and Brian To'o, just two dominant wingers. It was actually Holmes for a little bit there. I thought he was actually doing a little bit there, but by the end of the game, To'o and Lomax had definitely beaten their peers. Cobbo, I don't really remember Cobbo outside of just batting the ball dead or getting tackled in the in goal area. That's all I remember from Cobbo's performances. In the centres, we've got Stephen Crichton, the defensive stalwart, and still wily enough to make some attacking plays. So unfortunate he bobbled that try. It was if he had held that, he looked for sure over that line for all money. And his teammate, Bradman Best. Now over to the halves. It's again the New South Wales halves. Jarome Luai, who just has sort of come into his own in the absence of Cleary. So those Panthers are just looking super deadly now. Just with that experience, that leadership that Luai's gained over the absence of Cleary. Yeah, it really showed in this game. And in at number 7 is Himi Moses. Mitchell, the moment Moses. And we talked about this in the preview show, not on Tuesday, but last Thursday. We talked about those moments that, or was it Tuesday's show? Maybe it was on Tuesdays where we talked about those moments that you want to hang up in your man cave. And Mitchell Moses stood up. He must have heard our challenge. He must have heard our cries, because he created that moment in Queensland, seeing the Queensland fans crying as he scored a try. So Mitchell, the moment Moses, is our number 7. Over to you for the forwards.
Yes, in the forwards, we will start with the second rowers. And on one side, we have Angus Crichton. Do I need to say more? The man has been great for every game this season. He really is in fine form and arguably the best second rower in the world at the moment. He's punted up with the guy who replaced him in like their first minute, Mitchie Barnett. He just looked so at home in the Origin state, whether that was in second row or whether that was in prop on an edge in the middle, it didn't matter. He played really great and we thought he deserved a spot. In the hooker, we actually went with Connor Watson. We felt he changed the game. When he came on, like everything happened. So even though he didn't play for that long, it was more his impact. You could feel it. Air props, we have... It's Fotuaika, eh? Yeah, we had Michael Fotuaika. He kind of led from the front for that Queensland pack. Really, really solid. He had that one good carry off the fence. Like he had Payne Haas clutching at his like feet. It was crazy. Such a good run. And speaking of Payne Haas, that's who he's punted up with. He had a great game too, and he had another solid game. This will be easily his best Origin series he's had, and he's deserved of his spot there. And at 13, to be honest, I felt at times he was just all alone. Paddy Carrigan, he really is a superstar. This guy is just next level. His ability to give out big hits, run hard, ball play. He honestly is like the modern day 13. And we just had to have him in the team. I thought him and Mikey Fotuaika, even Felice Kafusi, they kind of led from the front. But Paddy Carrigan, he just did it for so long. Pretty sure, did he play 80 minutes or close to it?
Paddy?
I don't even know, yeah.
I think so.
He's just that good, and he rounds out our State of Origin Game 3.
Yeah, look, phenomenal performances, and there's a lot of lads that could have been added to this list. There, you got a Spencer Leniu out there. You've got Isaiah Yeo, could have been on this list.
Yep.
That's about it. Olo Koatsu could have been on this list. Hey man, when winners win, you can just say dumb shit and just come at me. Come at me. This is how toxic I would have been had the Broncos won the grand final last year. It would have been very toxic. But let's wrap up this Origin section with our Origin team of the series, and we'll finish off with our Origin men of the series. So we're just going to hash it out. All right. I'm going with Dylan Edwards at fullback for my fullback of the series. Walsh was knocked out in game 1, and his replacement probably closest to competing against Edwards for that fullback spot, and he only played it for 72 minutes in one game. So I've got to go with Dylan Edwards in that position. You good with that one?
Yeah, you'll get no arguments from me. Great game 2, great debut, solid game 3, and yeah, Reece Welsh, it just wasn't his series. He didn't have that great of a series, and alongside you, Hammer looked better when he was there. So
yeah,
he'll learn from it though. Growing pains. He's still young. He'll come back
100%.
better.
Hey man, just hopefully he's injury free, and maybe we get to see him ride out the rest of the season with the Bronx. Otherwise, hey, look, injuries happen. GG's in the chat. It's all good, bruh. Next up, we've got our wingers. Now I'm gonna throw out 2 names. You could throw out 2 names, and we'll go 1, 2, 3, and we'll say one name at a time. I'll count down from 3. You say your name. I'll say my name. We'll see if we can match them. 3, 2, 1. Lomax. Ooh, yeah. There we go. Yeah, like you got the balls to kick it from the sideline and a decider on your series debut. You score a try on your game debut. You score another try in the second game. You came damn well close. If you didn't get blocked so many times from the hammer, you probably would have scored in this one as well. But man, Zach Lomax, shout out to Flanagan. Man. Putting Lomax on the wing, Flanagan, you're the real MVP, brother.
He's elevated himself to being an elite winger now. He's in the conversation for best winger in the world. That's how good a season he's had, and he's earned it. I was pretty skeptical. I thought flash in the pan, everyone has his moments, but he's been consistent for the whole year, so I got to give it to the man. He is fully deserved of it. Great first Origin, and
a lot of it's his kick chase, like his commitment to the kick chase.
Yeah.
Like he sees that ball go up, and he just does nothing but beeline for it until boom, it's in his hands, and he's over that line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all right, the second winger. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
To'o.
Yeah, see, yep. Just what doesn't To'o do? Now, it doesn't amaze me so much anymore what To'o does, because we're so accustomed to seeing it week in and week out. And like we talked about with Lomax, is that consistency.
Mm-hmm.
To'o, he's not just been consistent this year. Iara. He's just always there, consistent, off the back fence, scoring tries, making those tackles. Like, he made some big time tackles in game 3 that I was just like, bro, you are that guy. And when it's all said and done, man, like I've said before, he could probably go down as one of the greatest wingers of all time. I don't really count those old-timey wingers that played in like the 14th BC that, they were roaming the earth when our tupuna came from bloody Papatuanuku. You know what I mean? I don't trust those history books. They play plumbers and whatnot. These are playing real athletes, and Brian To'o, man, he's one of the best. So I've got to give just hats off to To'o for his consistency, not just in this series, but just throughout his career, man.
Yeah.
Phenomenal winger.
You talked about it. It's his consistency, and he's been hands down the best winger in the world now for the last, 3-4 years. He pretty much took the reign from Ed O'Carr, and he's held on to it. Now he's got this guy, Zach Lomax, coming for the crown. Just so happens they play for the same state, you know? I mean, and that's just such a deadly combo. You have probably the two most informed wingers. Well, I'd say Zach Lomax is the most informed winger. Maybe your boy Dean might give him a run, but they want to play him at centre now.
Yeah,
and
so
you've got To'o, who's just been the best centre for the last how many years. So again, it's that consistency. His worst game's probably a 7.5. And he consistently tunes out like performances 9 out of 10.
Gee, his worst games would win the Tigers 4 in a row.
It's just next level. Yeah. Yep.
Now, moving to centre, I feel like we don't have to really do the 1, 2, 3 go on this one. The first one is Stephen Crichton, man. Critter. From day dot. And I mean, it even spoke volumes of his presence before game one. He got elevated to the leadership team before game one kicked off. So you knew he was about to have himself a series. And what he's been able to do at the Bulldogs, it didn't just translate into the Origin arena this season. It transcended it. You know, his just ability to, like I said, trap people on defense and then to spark a little bit of offense, or at least worry their defense enough for him to break someone else free. Phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. And to have a guy like that on your team, you just know you can trust him wholeheartedly. Like, you don't have to worry, is my centre going to just rush off the line real quick? Am I going to have to jam to cover? Like, what am I going to have to do? Do I have to drop back just to make sure that, you know, if he misses that tackle, I can clean up that mistake? You know, if he misses a tackle, it's like an anomaly. You know, that's a 1 in 1,000% chance of happening. But mistakes can happen, and, you know, he's almost mistake free, man. Like, when you see a mistake from him, it's like seeing a bad game from To'o. They just don't happen. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's why for me, Critter is just probably the informed centre in Origin and in the NRL. So big ups to Critter for what an incredible series.
Yes, I think he had a great series as well and deserved of a spot on this team. It seems to be a running theme, man. These guys that make these teams, they're just elite. And again, it's the difference between being consistent, right? Didn't have many up and downs. They just have solid performances. And you're right, I think it's the most informed centre at the moment.
Yeah, you said To'o's a centre too.
Yeah. You knew what I was talking about. But it's, you know, you mentioned it, it's his defense. He's easily the best defensive centre in the game. His offense still coming along, but he has that moment, man, that fend and the flick out the back. It's just next level. Easily deserved of a spot and the best centre in the series.
100%. Now, this is where I think Queensland fall into a little bit of luck with this one, in all honesty. Game one, Joseph Suaalii gets sent off in 7 minutes. Ineligible for this man of the series, right? Ineligible for the team of the series with only 7 minutes. Latrell Mitchell has a blinder game too, man. He's just everywhere. He's phenomenal. He didn't get to play game one. Didn't get to play game three. Bradman Best has another great game for New South Wales. Scores a try. Puts us in that position where we start to feel like the momentum's coming our way. Has a few line breaks, bobbled the ball a couple of times, but again, didn't play games 1 and 2. So we only had 1 game's worth of tape from him. Queensland had 1 centre who played 2 good games. Game 1, phenomenal, albeit against 12 men. But I guess, winners win, right? We always say that winners win, and they find ways to win. And, he just found ways to get himself into some open space and hammer time. Game 2, he's pretty much sparked that second half offense for that Queensland side, and scored himself his own try in game 2, just chancing himself, pushing the ball a little bit and trying to get over the line. I mean, by that point in the second half, they had nothing to lose, really. And it was just more playing back out footy for fun. Game 3, I think, was the only letdown for him. Kind of ineffective in this game. Just Crichton, man, locked him up all day of the week. It was great to watch. But overall, I've got to give it to the Hammer, just because, when you don't have anyone that you're competing against for all 3 games, I can't really give anyone the nod over Hammer's 3-game performance. So I'm going with the Hammer for the second centre position.
I agree with you. I think Hammer deserves it. He was lights out that first game, solid second game. So overall, he's had a real good series. Today just wasn't his game. No, it wasn't his style. Just didn't suit him. Didn't get many opportunities, not through his fault, really. Most of his runs were just, second hit-ups off the kick.
Actually.
So he just didn't really have a chance to let loose and to show what he can do. But we know what he's capable of, and I thought he was the best centre in Queensland and the second best centre in the series behind Critter.
Yeah. Over to the halves. Are we going Nico Hines and Tom Dearden? No. But in all honesty, who are your 2 halves pairing?
My halves pairing is Moses and Luai.
I've got Moses and Luai as well.
I thought DC was good, and not to say Dearden wasn't good either. They were. I just thought the other 2 just slightly outplayed them, and when you win the series, you kind of get the nod when it's that close.
Yeah. Also, their game 2 performance, I think, really solidified them.
Yeah.
Like game 3, they played pretty well. I think DCE really stepped up in game 3. But then you got to look at game 2. Yeah. And game 2 was absolutely dominant. We got a whole game's worth of scoring done in one half. And a lot of that came off of Moses' kicking game and Luai's run game. Yep. So, that for me solidified Luai and Moses at the 6 and 7. Mm-hmm. Let's go with hooker, next position. We've had 4 players come in and play hooker over this series. 2 for Queensland, 2 for New South Wales. There's just one name that stands out above them all, especially after game 1. His efforts in game 1 really showed New South Wales taking a different direction this season. And, Reece Robson has made a name for himself. You say it yourself. He kind of come out of nowhere for you. And, his performances have, put him on blast. And you're like, okay, I see you, I'm watching. For someone to do that, and he's not a glorified hooker. There's nothing flashy about him. He doesn't do too many dives at the line. You don't see him actually get over the line too often, and you don't see him take many stabs at it. He makes great tackles and gets the ball where it needs to go. That's all you need from a hooker.
Yeah.
He doesn't overplay his hand at all. He doesn't try to force things. He just plays what's in front of him. Good vision, good heads-up player. Can't pick anyone above him, not even the 2 Queensland boys.
Once again, I agree with you. It's Reece Robson all day. You already alluded to it. I didn't even know who he was. Well, I knew who he was, obviously, but didn't really know his game. And boy, did he stand out. Gave me a reason to maybe think about watching a Cowboys game. Was something I don't often do. And you spoke to it too. The reason why I think he works and why they're right to go with him and not Uppy for the series is Uppy's a bit too controlling. Not
Yeah,
through fault of his own, like that's just his style. He controls everything. He's got more deception to his game. But what it means is that he kind of goes through his options first, then he'll play at the back. Where Robson is just, like he gets the ball out quick. So if Moses wants it, he's getting the ball. Luai wants it, he's getting the ball. You know what
yeah.
I mean? So, and sometimes for spine to work, you need like players to kind of sacrifice. And that's why I think the New South Wales spine works so well, is that you kind of had Moses, who was like the guy. You had Luai kind of play that Robin role, which we know he's a lead at, but at times he wasn't afraid to like overcall as well, to like take that lead role, and he did it really well. And you had Dylan Edwards, who's just gonna do a job, just gonna do his role, and you
He's
also have
100% effort, Dylan
yeah,
Edwards. 100% effort.
and then you have Robson, who also is just gonna do a role, right? So when you have two players who kind of don't really need the ball, but are always in the right position and defensively is sound, and you have two players that can just pull strings, makes for a great spine. And it showed, man. Compare that to the Queensland spine. Harry Grant, he's a superstar. He can win games around a ruck for you. His deception, his ball playing. DCE also needs the ball. He can kill teams with his kicks. Welsh, real deadly with ball in hand. Dearden's kind of the odd man out, but again, you need one player to sacrifice. So more often than not, with those four, it's gonna be Dearden. It would have been interesting to see what happened if Munster was there, because again, you need him to have the ball as well. So you kind of have four players who need the ball. Luckily, two of them play on the same team, so they're used to it. you know, so I don't know. Maybe you needed one of them to sacrifice. Maybe that's where the Ben Hunt comes into play, because when Benny Hunt's there, the ball comes out a little bit quicker. Not so many runs from the ruck. Harry Grant is the best at knowing when to go and when not to. The marker's offside, he's going to go. But that's kind of one thing I noticed in the series, the role that the Nines played and the role that Reece Robinson played of just getting the ball out, defending hard, tackle hard, did his job, and he did his job at a really high level. And I think that's why he is deserved of being on this team for the series.
Yeah, and I think what his play really highlighted was Queensland really tried to come in and be that intense team. They try to be the tough team. And I think it kind of backfired on them a little bit there, because they focused too much on that rather than on the skills that they're so elite at and utilizing their players in the correct way. And you've got, like you said, those non-flashy players that just get their job done. And I think that's been the downfall of New South Wales at times, is trying to match that intensity and be the aggressor when you just let the game come to you and utilize your key players. And talking about utilizing those key players and people who bring out intensity without actually needing to try, we're going into our front row now, our props. For me, the one prop that I think hands down has been the most consistent standout for me, games 1, 2, and 3, has been Big Spencer Leniu, man. He has been huge impact off the bench. He was half the reason I think New South Wales had a lot of faith and belief that, we can still get into this game in game 1. It wasn't really a lost cause until midway through the second half, really, when Queensland put on a few quick tries and quick concession. But, Big Spence was a big part of that reason that, the defense was on point, that there was a hit squad out, because, he started firing up, Martin started firing up, Crichton started firing up, I feel like it all come off the back of Spence just coming in and then going, all right, gives the ball, and just a bit of a wrecking ball, man. So Big Spence, shout out to him. He definitely takes one of those prop positions for me.
Yep. He's on my team as well. You pretty much said it all, man. The impact he made, it was evident in every game, especially 1, especially 2, even 3, not so much 3, but he was still there.
Yeah.
and he probably had the most impact of any player off the bench.
Yep.
So definitely deserved of a spot. I'm with you on that one as well.
The second prop position was a little bit harder to hand out, but I'm giving it to him based off of that second game and a little in the second half of game 3, actually, where he really sort of come alive. Because you can't tell me Ruben Cotter played better than this man throughout all 3 games. You can't tell me, what's his name? Lindsay outplayed this man in all 3 games. And you can't tell me that although Mo had 2 good games, you can't tell me he had 3 good games. Payne Haas had his quietest game in game 1, the best performance I've ever seen from him in game 2, and a decent game 3, although that second half was probably more of the performance I was looking for from him in the first half. If he had played that way throughout, hands down would have been him, no question. But yeah, I've got to go with Payne Haas as my second prop.
Again, I totally agree. It was easily his best Origin series in that game too. We'd been waiting for him to make his mark at the next level. He finally did it. He's long been touted as the best prop in the game for the last couple of years, and I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think there are other players who are just as elite as him. Looking at the Fisher Harris, Joey Tapine, players of that caliber. But yeah, man, he finally did it on the level. That game 2 is going to be talked about for a while, just how dominant he was. When they needed him to step up, he did it.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can carry this on for series to come, because when he's at his devastating best, it's hard not to say that he is the best prop, or that he's not the best prop in the world. All we needed was that consistency at the level, or at the Origin level, and he finally showed it, so kudos to him.
100%. All right, the next position gets a little murky. Because I don't know which way to go. There's one who's just a surefire lock. It's the other one that I'm not sure where I go, because he was locked up tonight. He had a big game 2 and like we'll say a great game 2 and a very good game 1. But I'm trying to think who else played really well in game 1 that could. I guess it is just going to him. So my first second rower is Liam Martin, the hitman. He was everywhere in games 1 and 2. He caused a lot of problems for Queensland. He put Reece on blast for a big hit, and he also scored that first try in the second game. So it's going to Liam Martin. Because he had a quiet game, I was just making sure that there wasn't any Queenslanders that could have jumped him from his quiet game. But then I remember that Queensland forward pack was pretty non-existent throughout this series. So yeah, we've got to go Angus Crichton. I think Queensland definitely missed Big Tino, and they definitely missed David Fafita. I think Fafita would have brought some aggression that would have been credible instead of being pushed away like Cotter and Lindsay were. I think David Fafita would have, I think he would have been able to challenge Crichton a couple of times there in this game for sure. More so than Nenai, I think.
Yeah. Once again, I don't think we're going to disagree on any of these. It's Liam Martin as well. He just brings this fire about him. He's got this controlled aggression that's so crazy to see, and he puts in the hits. He scored that try, like you said. His defense is solid. Fully deserved of a spot on this team, and Angus Crichton. That's definitely one of the easier picks we've had.
Yeah.
He's just in such a rich vein of form, mate.
His name just says it all, eh? Like, you just say Angus Crichton, everyone's like, okay, yeah, no, fair.
He's just on another level at the moment.
And the man that rounds out my 13 is another Bronco. And the only other Queenslander, so we only got 2 Queenslanders in this team, is Patrick Carrigan. Just his consistency. And this was the same with the Broncos too, which makes no surprise as to why he makes our squad. Is when Payne went down, he was the only one that showed up. He's Mr. Reliable, Mr. Dependable. I feel like Patrick Carrigan's never late to work. He's just shows up, does his mahi, and he brought the fire. He brought that intensity. He kind of needed some more backup from his forwards because he answered the call. A lot of people coming into this game, Queensland looked soft in game 2. We need some intensity, some fire. He's the only one that never took a backward step in any carry or any hit up. So shout out, Paddy Carrigan. Hope you're fit and healthy, man, because we need you. We need you.
Once again, for the final time, I absolutely agree. The only one I could think of other than him would have been Yo, but I thought Carrigan was just on another level. It showed me that I think he's more of a Batman than a Robin. You said it yourself, right? When Haas was down, he just carried in. He had that ridiculous string of making our team of the weeks in a row. It was crazy. I don't think that record's going to be broken anytime soon.
Nah.
Rightfully so, and it shows he's clearly the leader of that forward pack on Queensland. He leads by example. I honestly think that they need to do that at Broncos. Shift Haas to that Robin role.
Yeah.
Let Carrigan be the guy. And they'll open up a lot more for Haas.
Yeah.
If they have to focus on Carrigan first and you forget about Haas, you are fucked.
And Carrigan's so selfless too. Like he's about that life.
He is, man. He is. Honestly, if I could pick a player to start my forward pack on, it'd be pretty hard not to pick Carrigan.
Yep. 100%.
He's
that guy.
My team every day of the week.
He's that guy. He's the forward version of Dylan Edwards. 100% effort. 100% effort. Might not be the flashiest, might not have the best footwork, but they'll be damned if they don't give it their all for the full 80. You know what you're going to get with those guys.
He's got the complete game too. He can run hard, he can tackle hard, and he's got a pass, man.
Yeah.
Quite a good pass too, might I add.
Yep.
He has it all. Like, honestly, he has it all.
Except for what is the word I'm looking for? Except for a supporting team that can help elevate his game to a grand final championship. That's all he's missing, really. Look, let's dive in quickly and wrap up with our players of the series. We'll start with our back. You go first. I don't think it's going to be anything different, but yeah.
I'm going with Zach Lomax. To me, he was the best back out there, followed closely by probably Mitchell Moses.
Yeah.
That game two will live on forever. That will forever be known as the Timothy Moses game in State of Origin lore, but Zach Lomax just solid, elevate himself again to elite winger status.
Yep.
And really to elite player status. I mean, I'll tell you what, if he signs his contract now, like not before, you could be looking at 800k.
Yep.
Yep. We're talking a lot of dough.
A lot of dough.
That
guy.
But, I mean, it was his kicking. I don't even know if he missed a kick this series. Maybe one.
I
can't remember, but it was just solid.
I think in game 1, he missed one from out wide. His one, I think. Because wasn't it 36-10 final score?
Something like that. I mean, his ability to kick chase and to win those aerial battles, it gives you a sense of belief that all you have to do is kick it his way and he'll come down with it. And when you have that much belief in a player and they deliver constantly, it's just a threat all day. So much so that Hammer has to go out of his way to block him every time. And really, it could have been, you could make the case it was a penalty every time.
It was, 100%.
But yes, no, Zach Lomax, he's the winner for me.
Yeah, same as me. Like everything you said about Zach. And I've been high on him and his Dragons for much of the season, thanks to Tyrell Sloan, actually. If I didn't enjoy that one game I saw of Tyrell Sloan's, I wouldn't really have jumped on the Zach Lomax bandwagon. But here we are. I've been on that Zach Lomax bandwagon for a while now, and it's just awesome to see him finally get his rewards. I think I even picked him way back when we had our Origin, like our first prediction for our Origin teams before the actual Origin teams got named and stuff like that. Not obviously our preseason one, but during the season I had Lomax up there. Who did we kick out to put Lomax in? I can't even remember now. Someone must have been for State of Origin when we picked our teams. Yeah, I can't remember anyway. And so glad that he gets his flowers, because he was in a bit of a dark time last year, not happy with the club and just really wanting out of the Dragons. They brought in a new coach, thought that might fix it. I think he was second guessing, but now that Parrott got in a decent coach, I think he'll be a bit more comfortable with that. And having built a connection with Mitchell Moses, and a really good one at that, the league should be put on watch for that next season. If only they can figure out the rest of what's going wrong with that team. At least they know the 7 in the wing, car pie. Over to the forward, look, there's no other man. We've been saying this week in and week out, well, not week in, but after both games. For me, in game one, it was Angus Crichton. That was my guy. He's just been that performer. He hasn't, we said the same thing about Patrick Carrigan, hasn't taken a backward step. And yeah, what did you say earlier in the season? Something about that contract, just pulled out a different beast in him, man. And hey, look, it's paid off, man. It's paid off. I just hate that he's a Rooster. It could be anything else on this planet but a Rooster, man. Congrats, Angus.
He deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
Contract year, man. This ain't different to players, but obviously he had to go through some adversity, some mental health battles that he had to go through, and it seems like he's come out the other end, which is so cool to see. It looked like he was going to go to rugby.
So glad he hasn't.
Yeah, because he would have got smoked if he did. But it looks like he's found a home, man. He's happy there and re-signed, obviously. It would have been interesting to see what happened if Fafita didn't backflip to where he would have ended up. That would have been a battle, especially like if it did go through and the form that he's in now, you might be looking at, again, 800, 900, dare I say it, maybe even close to $1 million.
Hey, this performance, the Wally Lewis medal, bro, if he didn't sign a contract earlier, that's $1 million man right there.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen people pay more for less.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they're getting 9-year tenure in Gold Coast.
I mean, it's just the form he's in. He was the most consistent, most elite, best forward on the field across all 3 games. Well deserved.
He's that guy. No, so yeah, look, that was an amazing series. We're fortunate to come out with the win. It was a huge performance. We're shattered. So we're going to go and check out what's coming up in round 20. All right, Etefano, that's enough about Origin. Let's move on. We still have the rest of the show to work through. All right, so first up, round 20. Can't believe it's round 20 already. What the heck, man? This season is flying by. One thing I'm still not a fan of NRL, and anyone who's important that's listening to this podcast, get it out there. Let it be known. Without a Thursday night banger, I've got nothing to look forward to. Like tonight, what are we doing? What are we doing tonight, Fano? I got to find something to do with my evening. Do I go to bed early? I don't know. It's just weird. We didn't have a Thursday night banger, so I don't feel like there's going to be a game of the week. It's just the way it is. I don't write the rules, but NRL, don't get me hooked on a Thursday night and take it away from me. I don't even got a women's NRL to watch. I hope, actually, I will rewind that because their preseason kicked off last week. We've got to mention that. Shout out to all the Wahine. Your fellow season is kicking off shortly, so there will be more games to watch. I hope they get some Thursday night, warm-ups. How good would that be? Have a women's game kick off, and then we have a main eventer kicking off after that. Double Thursday night banger. I'd be down for that. What we call that, like a double whopper. Ooh. But anyway, 10 p.m. I get so sidetracked today. Anyway, 10 p.m. Friday night at Gill Stadium in Canberra. The Canberra Raiders take on your New Zealand Warriors. Hey, remember, what was it, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was saying the bus is looking a bit empty. I was looking up ahead. I was like, ooh, I see my stop coming. And shit, I've been riding it since, and we've been picking up a few new passengers on the way. Everyone's riding high on the Waz bandwagon again. They're starting to win a few games. Te Maire Martin, he's back in that 7 seat, so people have been like, yeah, let's go. Now, the one thing I've been asking for a while this season, coach has finally answered Rawiri's prayer. But it's come at the expense of the wrong winger. This episode is not sponsored by W Zalesniak Watches. Marcelo is being hard done by, man. I feel like in the air, Marcelo normally wins those matchups. He's been winning those matchups lately when it's been one-on-one. I think Savage wins his winger matchup against Dallin. I think Rog definitely beats Raps. But I'm happy to see Roger on the wing. I'm happy to see it. I've been calling for it now for a little while. We both know this. We both know I've been calling this for a little bit of a while. You'll see Mitchie Barnett named to back up. Jeez, it's a tough ask, eh? Woo-hoo. My guy. Anyway, and Capo, good on yous. Yeah, it's going to be a good matchup, I think. Raiders. I don't know what the Raiders season looks like. Let me have a quick look at the ladder one time, ladies and gentlemen. I should have done this beforehand. So the Raiders and the Warriors, they're pretty much vying for that same spot. I guess from here on out, Warriors, we need a win. We need a two-tita maanga iwi and just our way up that ladder, my brother. We need to just hide it and climb that ladder. The Raiders, yeah, they need to do the same thing. They need to just hoist and skull and what else do Raiders do? Yeah, all the way up. I think this is going to be a closely contested match. Where do I think it's going to be won and lost? I think it's going to be won in the halves. You've got the returning Jamal Fogarty coming back from, and I think, if I remember correctly, Weeks has been playing fullback for the past 1 or 2 games now for the Raiders. It's been 1 or 2, eh? I think it's been in preparation for Fogarty's return, because they want to see how they can seamlessly integrate him. Because Weeks, to be fair, he's done really well in the absence of Fogarty. They've been able to pick up wins here and there. Obviously not enough to stay in the 8, but it's been a tough season for everyone this year. I think this game is definitely going to be won in the halves, and who can link up with their backs and orchestrate that offense better than the other. We know when Fogarty was in, the Raiders they were pumping. They were rolling on all 4 cylinders, man. They were just... The Warriors, they've been a bit up and down this season, but hit and miss in comparison to their last season. So they're looking to get into that 8. It'll be a great feel-good story for them to make it into the 8 up, especially after last year and all that they've gone through with COVID. So big ups to the Waz, big ups to the Raiders. You know the rules. Up the Waz all day. That's what we're going with. Waz City, baby.
I'm actually going against you on this one. I'm rolling with the Raiders.
Oh,
that's who I've got. Yep. The return of Jamal Fogarty, I feel as they can turn their season around. And I think they just need this game a little bit more than the Waz, which means I think if the Waz lose this game, it might be all she wrote, which is a little bit unfortunate. But you never know. They've lost Tohu Harris for the rest of the year, so it's a tough one to cover. But, like we've been saying, man, this B team has been rolling for the Waz.
Yeah, man.
So if there's a team that could get it done, it'd be this one. But, yeah.
The G Squad.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a little bit... I mean, I know Mitchie Barnett and Kirk Catwell named to back up, but I'm guessing they'll be dependent, on how things go, really. Hopefully yeah. But I'm gonna keep it nice and simple, man. I've got Got the Raiders winning at home. The return of Fogarty is going to turn it around. And hard luck Wars, that might be all she wrote for you. But anyway, that is that game. And moving on to the second game of round 20. First game of Saturday, 5 p.m. kickoff. Well, 5 p.m. here, that is. And this one is at... What kind of industry group stadium, Gosford?
No,
Hey,
dude,
why are they
that's
not playing it like...
tree.
What the... This must be one of those games where they take, out to the fucking wop-wops. Because this ain't a core stadium where you would think the Rabbitohs... Anyway, the Rabbitohs are hosting the West Tigers in the battle of the spoon, really? Well, not really, because I expect the Rabbitohs to put a hiding on this West Tigers and cement their place at the bottom. Looking at team lineups, it is pretty much the same as last week for the Rabbitohs. I can't see any changes in the back line. 1 through 7 look the same. And for the West Tigers, yep, looks trash as ever. I don't know why they still pick Staines, man. Like, the Forbes Ferrari had one of the best debuts you'll ever see. 4 tries on debut. I mean, albeit they were all just finishing tries, But he's, I don't know, for me, too skinny. He's fast in open space, but he's not elusive. He's just fast.
Yeah.
So he's like a good finisher when he can get on the outside, but too one-dimensional, I feel. So, yes, looking at their forward pack, and again, it's looking about the same. I like Kieran Kloamatangi holding on to that 13th spot. Honestly, they might think about keeping him there, but I think they'll eventually make the transition to put Murray back there. Now their origin is over. And obviously the big one missing from the West Tigers is Uppy, who is out for 1 to 2 weeks. I think he has a calf injury of some sort, which is a bit unfortunate. But to be honest, man, I don't think it really matters, eh? Like, I know the Rabbitohs finally lost a game last week after winning 5 in a row. In a tightly contested game where it came down to the kicking. So this week, I just don't think it's going to come down to the kicking this week. I do expect the Rabbitohs to absolutely whack this West Tigers team. I'm talking like 20 plus. They have started to find some form and their offense is really clicking. And I just don't think the West Tigers are in a position to get any stops or to make any inroads themselves. So they're facing a real dangerous Rabbitohs team, and I think that'll be reflected in the score. To be honest, man, that might be all I got for this game because I just don't see it going any other way. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. In fact, I've been wrong many times on this podcast. But I just don't think I'll be wrong this time. And I hope they get smoked, man. They got smoked last week by 50, which I wasn't happy about because they pretty much guaranteed the Sharks a top 4 spot. And they were they were super close with the Eels. And after they got smoked, now they're pretty much cemented in that last one. Unless they can pick up a win somewhere and hope the Eels lose. If it goes to points differential, it is just not in the West Tigers' favour. And this game might make it even worse. You got a team that still has belief they can make the 8. And a team that, I don't know. I never know, like, you don't have belief at all. Like, you already know you're going to win the wooden spoon. Season's already over. It's just what it is, man. That's all I got for this game. Get up the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, look, I hate the Christmas trees. I hate the Tigers, so I don't really care either way. I do love me Cam Murray, mate. He's I think he's been one of my favourite players. Every time we play the draft game, it's always Payne and Cameron Murray that the first 2 picks I always pick. And so that's why if anyone gets a pick before me, they normally take one of those players just to spite me, even if that's not how they want to build their team. That's just how they go. But yeah, look, I think the Rabbitohs are in for a good one. I feel like, last week was just a tough loss. Dolphins really had a lot more to prove than the Bunnies, but the Bunnies didn't, go without trying. They scored just as many tries. They just couldn't convert at the end of the day. So don't expect the same to happen this week. You'd expect the Bunnies to be rolling back on form. Origin player is back. Cam Murray. Do they have players or just player?
Who's this?
The Bunnies, eh? They just had the one player.
For what?
Origin.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, it's just Murray. Obviously, Latrell Mitt is a bit injured at the moment. But yeah, no, you'd expect the Bunnies to just pick up as they were and just keep the wheels rolling. I mean, last week was a small hiccup, but they'll be looking to try and get that season back on track. I know if the Broncos still have a chance to make the grand final, not really, but statistically they're able to make the grand final. I guess the Bunnies still can statistically make the grand final if they carry on their winning ways. And what better way to back up a loss than with a Tigers team, and they'll be wounded. They'll be looking to sort of bounce back, but I think this season's done a lot to their confidence, especially some of the guys that were there last year. You know, you've got a couple of wins, you've got a couple of tough fought wins. It's been a lot of hard losses. It's going to be a tough off season for them. And I mean, here we are wrapping this season up already, but it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It is what it is. Look, they're going to need to take a good hard look in the mirror. Look at what went wrong this season. Welcome in a few new additions coming in next season, like Luai and whoever else they have coming in. They have... No, they don't have... No, never mind. Do they have a winger coming in?
Yeah, they got Taruva.
Oh, so they did sign Taruva. Well, there you go. It's the They got the Penrith Panthers from Timu next season. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, it can turn their season around, much like the addition of Crichton has done to the Bulldogs. An added level of leadership, I think, is what the Tigers are missing. Like, proper leadership. Someone who's been in the trenches and found ways to win, which is what a lot of the Panthers boys have done. And, you know, it's showcasing throughout the league their abilities on and off the ball and off the field. But let's talk about another team that has failed expectations this year. And my mate sent me a meme. He's like, there's a crying face, and it was like, you know, Broncos fans when they realized they almost had a grand final premiership in their grasp last season. I'm just thinking, could you imagine? Like, has a team ever gone from a grand final victory, picture that we won, to where we are currently in the space of one season? I don't think I've ever seen that. The drop off being so dramatic. I've seen it with people who lose a grand final, but I've never seen it with outside of the Melbourne Storm. But that wasn't because they sucked. It was just because they cheated. So GG's. But how often do you see a grand final winner plummet to the bottom of the table, having to win 6 of their next 7 games to make the 8? That's the reality we face, and this team that he's picked for this week doesn't match that reality that we face. Although you see Reynolds listed there, I've read further articles. The only reason he's listed is because we have no other players. So he has to be listed to fill the bench. It's a requirement by the NRL. So he's not playing. There's no chance of him playing. He's not there to entice other teams to think he's going to play. He's zero chance of playing, which I'm happy about, because I was like, why the fuck is Reynolds in there? He's a couple of games away from supposedly returning anyway. Why risk him getting injured again in one game out for the rest of this season and potentially the next? On the flip side of that coin, if we lose the next 2 games and we're out of the 8, keep him off. There's no chance I'm risking him again at the end of the season. Same thing. He gets injured again, and then he's out for most of next season as well, while we wait for him to come back. If we're done, he's done. If we're done, Payne's not playing, Carrigan's not playing, Walsh isn't playing. None of those boys are playing. We're going to run out of G squad. Get some experience for the rest of the season. Let the other boys try and do the best they can. Because, I mean, if the season's done, which it's close to being done, we lose this game, depending on who backs up, I'm assuming they're going to get people to back up, but I'm not going to hold my breath, boys. If it's a tough physical game, and I'm going to, remove the, I'm going to break the fourth wall here. We're pre-recording this before State of Origin, because the game finishes at midnight. All right, I ain't staying up until midnight to record all of this. This is why my energy is high now. After the game, you're going to get 2 tired brothers just talking about one game rather than hypothetically talking about all of these games. But if they back up, I'll be happier with the lineup, a little bit more happier with the lineup. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they don't back up, because they had a pretty tough season last year. the toll that it took on their bodies, which you're kind of seeing it play out now. One thing that has been really highlighted is they prematurely pulled the trigger on a lot of the contract re-signings. I think they pulled the trigger too early on Ezra Mam. I think they pulled the trigger a little bit too early on Brendan Piokura. They signed both those guys within the first 4 weeks of the season. Where has that gotten us? Nowhere. Ezra Mam has shown that he can't lead the team around from the halves in the absence of Adam Reynolds. Ezra Mam has shown that he is pretty much a Robin this season. I'm not saying that he can't improve and become a Batman, but he is 100% a Robin. He's shown so many weaknesses in the absence of Walsh and the absence of Cobbo. When he's the only player asked to step up on this team, and for $800,000, you best be stepping up. He hasn't shown me $800,000 worth of talent this season. I'm sad to say, phenomenal player, probably a great person. He just hasn't shown me that he was worth the contract that they signed him for, and I think that was a premature signing. He's probably got the potential to be that, and I hope he lives up to that. But right now, where our season's at, a lot of that you can rest on their shoulders because they're an $800,000 player. You pay someone $800,000, you expect $800,000 worth of performance. We haven't got that. The coach, that's why I kind of hope we fail. That's why I'm hoping we don't make the 8, because we might get a new coach next season. And with that new coaching, I'm assuming when it comes to selecting a lineup, that you pick your best players in the position that they perform the best in. We had Dean Mariner leading the league in try scoring, leading the team in try scoring. And in most of those losses, he was the only person who put 4 points on the board. And sometimes he did that just out of his own sheer will. He was magic in some of the ways he scored tries. He just, Jimmy, he's over the line. Yeah, he knocked the ball on a couple of times, but he's done a lot more on the wing than he has done in centre. Since he's played at centre, he hasn't scored any tries. When he was playing on the wing, I think he was scoring an average of a try a game from the wing position. And he was leading the league without even scoring a 4-pack. Most of the wingers that are like up around the top try scorers this season have scored a 4-pack. Mariner's the only one who hasn't scored a 4-pack, and he's still was around that mark. So that's where we've been let down. I think a shining light so far this season in this team has been Katoni Staggs, his defense, his ability to show up week in and week out. That's where the money should be spent. You shouldn't say that we rely on our superstars. We shouldn't say that Origin has depleted our team, that, if Origin was shifted and we were able to play, other teams suffer a loss at Origin as well. We're not the only team. We definitely weren't the only team that had the most players from our team missing at one point. The Cowboys had the most missing, and then obviously the Panthers, they normally have a whole bunch of their players missing, and they still win games. What's our excuse? We don't have an excuse. We've got no excuses. Our excuse is our lack of execution, the inability of a game plan or to execute said game plan. The only reason we won games last season was because we had Adam Reynolds. He was the one executing the game plans. He's up to his last year next year. Where do we go next? So this is my wrap-up for our season. I don't think we win 6 out of the 7 games that we have coming up next. I think it's GG's in the chat. I think we'll be lucky if we win this game against the Knights back home. The Knights, they got a lot of boys back from Origin duty. They'll all be wanting to back up and play the best. They want to put themselves in the best position to make the 8, because I think the Knights are in a similar position. Statistically can make the 8. So we'll see about that. But the reason I say that the lineup that we see will probably be changed is because I think, you'll probably see Patrick at 13. Hetherington will take Moses' spot on the interchange, and we'll see Moser moved back into the reserves because Smoothie will be Kevy's son's replacement. We'll see Willison move back to the bench. Payne Haas will go back there, which is our normal thing. But I reckon Willison and Haas should be starting together. Get Jensen off the bench. They haven't tried that yet. I think they should. I think leave Blake in, start Smoothie, and then bring Blake off the bench. maybe give Billy some time in reserve grade to, refine his craft a bit more, because our attacks look lackluster every time he's been in there. But good luck to the Knights. I'm tipping the Knights in this game. Man of the match, probably Kalen Ponga. I think he'll just have a blinder.
Yeah, look, I'm actually the same with you. I'm picking the Knights on this one. I don't think Kivy has a choice. He has to play the Origin boys. They have to back up. And if they don't, then pretty much throwing in the towel. It's already a big ask, but not having them back up is just solidifying that you've almost given up, and he needs to be careful because it might just, well, you've already alluded to, it might just cost him his job. Which would be kind of, in a way, cool because it'll give us something else to talk about it, like who do you want to replace him? But, yeah, look, I don't really have much to add. You pretty much said it all. I do like how the Knights have all their players backing up. Ponga, Gagai, Best, Hastings still in at that 7, and Will Price, who I think deserves a spot. It'll be interesting to see how the game goes. I don't know which way it will go. But the Knights being at home, they've got Ponga back, and they always look different when he's there. Phoenix Crossland at 9, so he's more of just a passing hooker, which I think will work in their favour because it means Hastings getting the ball earlier. He can kind of dictate more, and Ponga is also going to get the ball more often, which can only work in their favour. But yeah, I might just leave it there. I mean, I do hope the Broncos get up, but I just can't see it. Not if the Origin boys don't back up. They have to back up. Your season's on the line, and if they don't, I'm like you, man. GG's in the chat. Start booking that trip to where do you guys go in your off-season Mad Mondays? Normally the Bulldogs go to Bali. We've tried to switch it up the last few years, but normally we already have our trip planned already. I've already planned it at like week 10 is normally when I start planning the trip. But I think it's a little bit different this year, so we haven't quite booked anything yet.
Can we have your fellas' tickets? I know you fellas would have booked yours in the off-season.
Normally, mate, it's well in advance when we've booked it. Normally, we book ours along with the Tigers. We book around the same time. And then a few years back, it used to be us, the Tigers, and the Wires would all book our tickets around the same time. How the Wires and the Tigers might be back together.
Can we have your fellas' tickets? You can take ours. We had ours to Hawaii, but that was on the premise we were making the grand final. So we might as well just go to Bali, man. We don't deserve a Hawaii trip. No. I will say though, I don't see okay, yes, Broncos in this magical world, they win the next 6 out of 7, or they win 7 out of 7. The boys are going to be pretty shattered by then. Now we make it into the 8 just to lose in the first round. It's such a heavy push. What's the point if even if by some sheer luck we manage to make the grand final, the boys are going to be pretty fatigued because they're not getting a bye, or they get one bye between now and then. But that's still counting. We need 7. Oh, maybe.
They must be including it. So I think the magic number's around 32. It's looking like.
If we need 6 out of the next 7, no, that means we need to win every game, including the bye. Because we've still got a bye coming up. That's why I'm like 6 out of 7. That sounds. Wait a minute. No, we need 6 out of 6 wins, including this one. That's ridiculous. We ain't going nowhere. No, that's us. We're out. I'll wrap up the season there. Thank you so much, Broncos fans, for staying true to the boys. Look, I know it's been a tough year. We'll come back better next year, hopefully. I mean, we said that after we lost the grand final. We'll come back better. We're only losing 2 players. Well, feels like we lost half the team.
Well, alrighty then. We will move on to the final game in the Super Saturday. And if we don't get a Thursday night banger, if there's a game that says banger on it, it is this one. You have your first place Storm hosting at what is it? AMI Park? Amy Park? That's how they pronounce it, eh? Yeah, it is. Abbey Park, Melbourne, they are hosting the third place Roosters in what should be without a doubt the game of the round. You have the team that's leading the comp against a team that is quickly, well, actually, I wouldn't even say quickly, like, they're where they should be, is what I should say. These Roosters, man, they're here to play. And honestly, I think they'll back themselves to win this game. I can't remember the last time the Roosters beat the Storm, but I know that this one they'll gear up for. And looking at the teams, obviously the Storm is still without Munster, but who cares when you have the Dally M favourite, Jarome Hughes? Yep, I reckon he's going to win it. You know, leading them, and he's captain. You got Pep at fullback. I mean, let's just start there, right? Battle of the fullbacks. Pep against Teddy. Teddy's in some great form. He's kind of wound the clock back this season. Just reminding everyone of why, you know, his greatness and how he's been great for so long. Maybe it took him to be out of the Origin arena to get back some of that form. But we'll see. I think those two have a lot to say in who wins it. Obviously, we have Walker against Hughes. That's a great number 7 battle. Carey against Wishart. Wishart's low-key been pretty good for the dang Storm. He kind of just plays his role. You know, Hughes is like the main conductor and Wishart just does his thing. I think the advantage for the Roosters are their wingers with Tupou and Young up against Warbrick and Anderson. Warbrick for me he's hit and miss. He's kind of like Cobbo.
Yeah.
But in the sense that like he can do great things, but he also lets the team down. I'm surprised they didn't go with Farlongo in that spot. Or who's the other winger? Oh, Coates.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Is he on the reserves?
I'm pretty sure he's still injured. He's coming back from injury.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because he's not even in Origin.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Our boy, Jack Howarth, retains his spot in the centre. Oh, shit. Wait, I swear I ask this question every week. It's 3 against 4, right? Centres.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's guarding your future Bulldogs, Satili Tupanua. Can't believe he's playing centre, man. And it could be a mismatch on the other side with Swali'i against Meaney. I feel as though Swali'i's just going to eat him alive. He's too big. And I've seen Meaney be exposed more than once this year. Like, a lot of times where teams attack is to Meaney's way, and you'll find success if you go his way. Not saying he's not a good player, because he is, but I mean, that's a mismatch all day, so you would assume that you go that way. Of course, Brandon Smith gets to play his old team again, Storm, and go head-to-head with Harry Grant. What a battle that is. The battle of the second row is Crichton and Radley against Bloor and Katoa. That should be a good one. I'll give the advantage to the Roosters here. And then at 13, you got Watson against Loero. Look, the props, May and Collins against Kamikamitha and King. If you were to just to rank these people, like rank these lineups against each other and who has the advantage, honestly, you'd say Roosters have the advantage in most of them. Not all of them, but most of them. And quite comfortably, I'd say too. But again, right, it's just that thing that the Storm are a team. They play to their system and they know how to get it done. And they're a hard team to beat at home. I honestly think the Roosters will back themselves and like their chances. They're riding high. They know they're on their way to the playoffs and they need to win this game to almost like cut that deficit. At the moment, they're pretty much locked into that, to the number 3 slot. They have a healthy points differential lead over the Sharks. So as long as they keep winning, they're always going to stay ahead of the Sharks. Can they catch the Panthers? Maybe. I think if they win this one, they'll jump ahead of the Panthers against points for and against. Actually, looking at this ladder, they easily have the best points differential. Bro, their points differential is 225.
Damn.
How is that even a thing? They have, just a quick look at the board, scored the most points by like quite a bit. They're the only team that scored 500 points.
Most of them came against the Dragons.
They are... Oh, true.
They pumped the Dragons, remember, on
go,
Anzac weekend? And then they did it again, their most recent
yes, that's right. And they have the third best defense behind the Panthers and my Bulldogs. I'm liking them more and more each weekend. I think this is the test. This is the true test to see if they join or rejoin the ranks of the elite, like they were. Would you say the late 2010s?
Yeah.
When they went back to back, like they were just elite. And it seems they've got them back there. It's a good game. I think it's going to be a close game. It could come down to moments of brilliance from the likes of Teddy, from the likes of Pep. Jarome Hughes, I have no doubt will have a say in who wins this game. But I'm going to go ahead and tip the Roosters to get... This isn't even an upset, according to the TAB. The TAB got the Roosters' favourites.
Hey?
That's got to be rare, right? For the Storm to be the underdogs at home. You know what? Because of that, I just switched who I think's going to win. I'm now going to go with the Storm. Because all I know is that you don't bet against the Storm when they're at home.
Yeah.
So late switch up there, Fano, but it happens. You can blame the TAB for that one. I'm going with the Storm to win. Jarome Hughes once again to get your player of the match and to solidify his standing. I think if he's not close to the top of the leaderboard at the moment, he has to be, or if he's not at the top, he's got to be close to it. I think from what I've been hearing, the favourites are him and Teddy to get it. Because Dylan Edwards has kind of been splitting points with some of the Panthers. Nico Hines has kind of fallen off because he's been out for a little bit now. And I can't remember who else was at the top. Cleary obviously been injured for a while. I think Turbo's starting to make a comeback. DCE's up there, I believe.
Yeah, I think I did have Tedesco as one of the front runners. I don't know, leading?
Yeah, I forget, because obviously they've been behind closed door now for about, 7-8 weeks, so you just don't know.
Yeah.
But also you kind of know. It's pretty easy to tell. Well, not easy, because
what happened last year?
Sometimes those voters do weird things. They're stupid things, man. But it is what it is. I'm going with the Storm in a close game, or what I predict will be the game of the round. Potentially golden point. I don't know. I'm picking Jarome Hughes, though, to be the man to get the job done. And that's all I got to say on this game. If you got anything to say, feel free to add. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, hey, look, all I know is this is definitely the match of the undies. We know Tedesco loves getting his shorts pulled down, and Hughes isn't too far off it. So there should be a TAB for 100% chance of seeing either the budgie smugglers or someone's butt cheeks, brother, because it always happens with those two. I like what you said about Luai. He does some amazing things, but he also does some things that just makes you scratch your head and go, huh? Might have to call him dial up bit slow. Old dial up. For you youngins, Google it. Yeah, look, I've got to go with the Storm too. Seldom do we see them lose at home, and if they do lose at home, it ain't by much. I do like this Roosters team, and if there's anyone to upset the Storm at home, it is the Roosters. I've been wrong many times this season. I'm 0-26 versus TAB this season, so hey, if anyone's wrong, it's me. The saying, even a broken clock's right twice a day? Well, fuck me, I'm worse than a clock. So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with the Roosters. The Storm. But one thing I said I'll say about this Roosters side is with that suspension last game, they're giving Koro something he's gonna need. In his final season, he's got 5 games off. That's 5 games you get to chill, relax the body, recover some of those little niggles, and go hard in the off season. So I think Storm get the upper hand in the regular season. But watch out for those Roosters. They're winding up for a great postseason run. And who knows, Jarome Hargreaves might get to receive that Peyton Manning sail off in the sunset. So stay tuned at Tepano. My turn. Heading over to Sunday now, one of 3 games, which I'm unhappy about. We're at Bluebet Stadium in Penrith. Nice early game for the Panthers as they host the Dolphins. Now, big game here in Pantherville. As the return of the prodigal son, the future immortal, some are saying. It's the returning debut of Nathan Cleary. This is what his third time back.
He's been in and out. Yeah, he's been in and out quite a bit.
Yeah. So expect him to be out again. Why do they got all their Origin boys on the reserves like they ain't gonna back up? Like they ain't gonna back it up. Boy, he's lying. Martin, Tor, Luai, they're all going to be in that starting lineup, which means Eisenhuff, Garner, Schneider, Alamuti, Laurie. These are all out. Sorry, mothers, Lada Bowl. I don't know why Ivan decided to make the lineup difficult, but he is. All eyes going to be on Nathan. I know fantasy players are bringing him in early. We just got 8 trades this week. They've been holding on to these trades. Everyone's been without trades for so long now. Everyone's buying in Nathan Cleary. Perfect timing, man. Dude's had a bit of a break, and we seen the last game he played when he got injured. He just operation is like as usual, man. He is that guy. He's phenomenal player, and he's what they need to guide them deep into this playoffs. I think, though, if he gets injured, do we think the Panthers still make as deep of a run? And if they do make that grand final, do they still, make those comebacks if the bro gets re-injured for a long time?
Short answer, no. They need him.
Mm.
I think they can win one game in the playoffs, but I don't see them winning it without him.
Yeah, they just need that calm guy that can steady the ship, eh? Like, he's got that cool head. Doesn't matter what the scoreboard is. Very Patrick Mahomes-esque. It don't matter. He's still going to be there or thereabouts and, find ways to win. Unfortunately, he doesn't have Stephen Crichton with him this season, who was a large part of that reason they won the grand final last year. So, but you never say never with the Panthers, and they could be the first ever 4-time NRL champion. Who would have ever thought? Over to the Dolphins, coming off a tightly fought victory versus the Bunnies last week, off of the back of a huge run by Tavita Pangai Jr. I don't know about Max Plath. I feel like he's a little bit underutilized out of hooker. I really prefer him in that ball-playing lock position. He knows when to run. He knows when to pass. At hooker, it's not that his talents aren't suited there. It's just that he's being underutilized there. He's much more than just a bloody get and service the backs or service the forwards. He needs to have that ball in hand and just crash over that line. So I'm going with the Panthers. It should be a good game. The Panthers are just warming up. This is where their season starts. Yes, obviously it started round 1, build their way up, but their season starts now. And if they want to make that 4-peat the first ever, they've got to make sure that they're in to get that. And this very well could be their last championship. Luai's moving off to the Tigers. Taruva's going to the Tigers. Fish is off to the Warriors. They do get Isaiah Papali'i. But, that's a lot of boys from their 4 championship team. They've been to the grand final 5 times in a row if they make it this time around. It's phenomenal. That's unheard of. Sorry, Dolphins. More about you guys. Yeah, good on you. Good game. Go hard. I'm going Panthers.
With the return of Nathan Cleary, right, you just assume that Panthers are going to win.
Yeah.
And with the Dolphins team, not to say that they can't get it done. They're looking good. They're holding on. Where they in the top 8. But yeah, I'm with you, eh? I think the Panthers are going to get it done. I don't know if they'll do it in a spectacular fashion, but they'll get it done in any way they can. Interesting to see. We talked about backing up So no Dylan Edwards and no Yo in the reserves. So those two will definitely be getting a break. Which is good, right? Like they need a break eventually, every now and then. So why not get it now? Just get an extra couple of days rest or extra week off. And like you said, to gear up, this is it, right? This is the time now where you start turning the screws and getting ready for your drive, for your big push to the playoffs. Because for them, all they have to do is get there. Once they're in the playoffs, hopefully the experience can carry them. And you could be right, man. This might be the end of it. Might be the end of their dominance. Again, losing so many players. It's just tough. It is just absolutely tough. But for the Dolphins, I mean, you got the return of the Hammer. That's the only change in the back line. Jack Bostock, he's kind of growing on me. They're seeing the pairing of Averilla and Farnworth doing good. And with the kicking of Isako, you just assume that every try is going to turn into 6 points and not just stay at 4. And Tavita Pangai Jr., if he can keep playing the way that he did last week, he will definitely be a Rabbitohs next year. But if he isn't, then I don't know. He's annoying because he does that. He has games like that. He's just never consistent enough. So I wouldn't be surprised, man, if he just does a mistake early on in the game, put them under pressure. Panthers score early, and then the ball just starts rolling. I expect it to be off one of his late offload that no one's ready for. Or he's just going to do something dumb. Well, I hope he does something dumb anyway. But I'm going to keep it nice and short. I'm going with you. Panthers to win. It might be closer than what people expect, but I just think the return of Nathan Cleary is the difference. He's too good. They're too good. See them start pushing for the finals. And that is all I got for that game.
All right. Now, heading over to Sea Eagle Park in Sydney. The Sea Eagles mainly take on the Titans. Let's go. Titans have been on a little bit of a roll lately. They've been rolling and bowling, bumbling and stumbling their way to a few victories. What we are still trying to figure out is, okay, did Brimo get injured or something? Why is he 18th man? Are they just trialing it? Because Kenny's back in at that 1, and Brimo's at 18th. So I'm assuming Campbell's locked up that 6 jersey. I'm assuming Campbell is the 6. He's all day, every day, bread and butter. He the 6, 4 and the 7, and it's Kenny and AJ fighting one outs for that fullback jersey. It's tough, man. I don't know. And you don't want to put. What does AJ got to do, man? What does AJ got to do? Does he got to play hooker?
Brother. He might have to be the new ball playing 13 or just lock down that 14th role. Like the impact guy off the bench, you know? The one that changes games, changes momentum. Coming in the middle while the forwards starting to slow down and just kill them with speed, kill them through the middle.
He'd be ridiculous off the bench in that 14th position. Like if they had a 6-man title in the Dally M's, like if there was that 14th, your number 1 off the bench, if he played that role for a whole season, man, we'll be out here calling him Jamal Crawford, Manu Ginobili. He'd be that good, man. Like, because that's too much talent to be sitting on the bench. That is, yeah. But that's also too much talent to be sitting in 18th, wasted. So Desi, he has a problem on his hands. And that problem is, who do you go with? And we're in a time now, this is definitely going to be the fullback era, where every team has so much depth at fullback, it's ridiculous. Like, look at the Warriors. They got a fullback playing winger. They got a fullback deep in reserves, who's probably their best fullback, in my opinion, with Tane Tuopiki. Just this season, anyway. Not career-wise, but I'd definitely pick Tuopix over some of their current choices. Who else? Whālongo behind Pap. You've got the guy from the Tigers. You got Blaze Talangi behind Gutho. So there's plenty of fullback depth out there. So, yeah, tough time for the Titans to figure out who they're going to go with. I don't know. I feel like this game, it could go the way of the Titans. I think, because what's the word? Is it under assume? Is that a word? Under assume them?
What? What do you mean under assume?
Like you take them for granted. You think you'll get an easy dub, and then they surprise and boom. Like have you ever
Underestimate.
underassumed someone? That's the word.
Fucking hell.
Gee, this is why I studied PE.
No,
I don't have in real life. I don't have a right click synonym.
under assume. Oh, good God.
Yeah, that's my bad, man.
Oh my goodness.
What's the word?
Oh,
What's the word?
underestimate.
Underestimated. Yeah, but have you ever been underassumed though? Gee, we need to have kupu ho every time I come up with a random word like the thirdest. Gee,
The third is far out.
the third part of the
Oh,
season. And what is it underestimated? Yeah, fuck it is too. Yeah, people underestimate these Titans, and it comes back to haunt them. Alufiana Pereira is one of the informed wingers at the moment. He's allergic to not scoring tries. Mother has to score a try every other week. But I'll tell you who else is having a good game. That Lehi Hopoati, he's having some good times. I do prefer Tommy Talau back at the wing. Same issue there with what's going on at the Broncos. Mariner and Talau, good wingers, not so good centres. Look at Lomax, good winger, not so good centre. So if it didn't work for Lomax, it ain't gonna work for these fellas. Put him back on the wing. Ken Daly steer the Seagulls side. They need as many wins as possible because they're on the odd point, same as the Warriors. So they need as many points as possible so these even teams don't just happen to knock them out by 1 point. It's just going to be tough for them. They've got a pretty steady road to the final, but yeah, got to be a good game. Where's Paseka? Is he still injured? Oh no, he's in the reserves. He's in the reserves, so he might be back this week. He might be back next week. But it's good to see Taniela Paseka back there because early on in the season, man, he was my informed prop for a lot of those games. He was my informed prop. He had that aggression. He had that go forward. So hopefully we get to see him back sometime soon, which might push Josh Aloiai back off onto the bench. This is my short, brief analysis on the Seagulls. I think, yeah, for the Titans to get it done, it's going to be on the back of the feeder and on the back of that back five. And Jaden Campbell just doing Jaden Campbell things. And, the defense of Kieran Foran. His ability to defend at the 7, I'd probably say he's probably the best defensive 7 in the comp at the moment. So, that's the one. Don't underassume these Titans.
This should be a game that I'm most definitely not going to watch. I can tell you that much. But I do think it'll be a good game. Tom Trbojevic, obviously at the back there, and every time he plays fullback, Manly are always 10 times better, and I think rightfully so should be the favourites for this game. Whether or not they will get it done, we will see on Sunday. I do have a bone to pick with a number 6, Luke Brooks. More so with Clarkey. Obviously, Clarkey has his daily posts and that, and he's got his updates of, signing of the season? Which he updates quite regularly. I think it's like every week. He's got our captain Critter as his number 1 signing, and fair enough. And he's got Curran as the number 2 signing, fair enough. But at number 3, he's got Luke Brooks, which I agreed with at the start, but to be honest, I had seen Luke Brooks since about round 8. And he's just not that guy. I'm starting to think he's not even a Robin. We were saying the grass might be greener on the other side, and at the start it did look greener. But now it just looks like the same grass that it had at the Tigers.
He's
No,
gone from
man.
killing the Tigers
It's
grass
just
to killing the Eagles grass.
he's just lucky he has just a better team around him in general, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of makes up for him. Cause yeah, man, he's been going missing. Feels like I ain't seen him in forever. But other than that, man, I think it'll be a close game. I am rolling with the Eagles to win it, which is bad for my Bulldogs, I think, because it solidifies them in that 8. The Titans, even though they have gotten better as the season goes on, I just think it's too little too late. And so I don't see them making the 8. I see them falling just short in what would have been, yeah. They're just going to rule their slow start. Their slow starts come back to haunt them. You can't lose, your first 4 or 5 games? It's just too bad of a start, especially if you're not going to go on like a 10-game win streak like the Knights did last year. But that's not to say that they aren't a team on the rise, because they have been playing really, really good. But too little too late. I think the Sea Eagles just get it done. I'm not watching this game, but I will be watching the next game. So with that, I got nothing else to add. We are going to the last game of round 20. It is the 8th place Cowboys hosting my Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. This game is played at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. Last game of the round. Now, are we happy that it's at 8:15 on a Sunday? No, not at all. I'm with Rawiri on this. We don't need 3 games on a Sunday. It's too much. You took away the Thursday banger. If this game was on a Thursday, would have been instant classic, instant banger. But it is the 3rd game on a Sunday. 3 games on Saturday is already too much. Now we got to have back-to-back days of 3 games. It's just too far in the season now where it gets too much. Get what is it? NRL. What's the word I'm looking for? You just get gassed out.
Fatigued.
But obviously, because it is, you get fatigue. That is it. League fatigue. But since it is my boys playing, damn right I'll be up to watch it. Can we get the job done? I don't know, man. Be one of the few games of the Cowboys that I do watch. Everyone that follows the podcast know I'm not really a Cowboys fan, and I tend to miss their games. But this one, I will be up. Big news coming out of the Bulldogs team is Max King is out for roughly 6 weeks, which means Curran is coming on from the bench to that starting prop. I wouldn't be surprised if they switched it at the game, like an hour before.
Yo.
And if Puasa Famasuli gets to start. I just think he's better off the bench. He kind of brings a point of difference when he comes on, and he's really good in that role. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if they switch Mann and Hayward around. So I do expect a few late changes from the Bulldogs, just to go with the status quo. And I think they can get it done, man. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I think we can get it done. The Cowboys have low-key had our number the last few weeks. I'm just looking at their team now, and I've noticed Clifford's at 6, but I'm assuming what's his name's off the bench. Oh, reserve.
Yeah,
yep.
They're all in reserves.
So they've got all of the Origin players on the reserve. Because it is the Sunday game, we do expect them all to play. So as a team is now, I do expect it to completely change, and I expect all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Origin players to be in the 17. So this team's going to be completely different. And they're going to need to be, man. And they better bring it. Because if they don't, we're going to take that ass. We're going to fucking waste them. Definitely think we can. If we do, it's going to be off the back of Burden and his kicking. He's really come of age this year, and it's been so cool to see. He's won us the last 2 games in Golden Point from his field goal. And so many games this season, he's kept us in the game, in the battle with his long kicking. So hopefully he can continue to do that. We do have a few injuries though, which is, sad to see. I think there was something around saying we might have to sign someone. Because we have about kind of similar to your Broncos. I think there were a few off this reserve who just had to be named. because like they need those players there. But yeah, so interesting to see. In terms of the Cowboys, I hope you guys absolutely get smoked, eh? Like, I'd love for this B team to be on, because Jake Clifford, you ain't it. You're trash. Where's our boy Tamalolo? Please let your knees hurt again. I can't believe I wanted you at the start of the season. I no longer want you. You are no longer welcome at the Bulldogs. We don't need you, brother. Griffin Neem. You're always
Big
welcome
game
at the
for Big Griff,
Bulldogs
though.
if you wanted to come over.
Yeah, surely
Yeah,
Big Griff has a big
revolve.
game. Only just one player. We wish him well.
Yeah. How come he's on the interchange? Who's this Sam McIntyre? Who are you, bro? Fucking the nerve. Don't even know you.
No, well, Sam's
Okay, let's.
probably getting replaced by Cotter.
Yeah, true that. Yeah, that makes more sense. You're placed by Cotter. Reese will take over Granville.
Lukey goes
Nanai.
back to the bench.
Yep. I just hope our forward pack can keep doing what they're doing, work together as a team, as a pack. And it's always been in our kick chase, so we need kick out to lead their kick chase off the Burden bomb. Not the Burden special, but just the Burden long kick. Let kick out get there, set the defense, boys come off quick. As long as we're not giving up penalties inside the 10 to let them out easy, we should be able to pin them, win the field goal position, get into the half and start throwing some attacking plays. Let Reed control it in our attacking areas, using his deception, using his crash balls, and then when Burden calls for it or the backs call for it, do their thing. Just let Sexton do his thing. He's been really well. Critter, I still wish he could get a little bit more ball. Just get him nice early ball and let him do the rest. And if you do that, no doubt he'll be sitting up the like of Blake Wilson. Wait, is Critter on the same side as Burden for this one? Interesting. I think they might swap that. Normally it's Sherry on the same side as Burden and Kicker. But I think I'm going to pick my Bulldogs to win. And if we do, I honestly think we no longer can make the 4 because of the Sharks and how they absolutely destroyed Tigers. But I think we can hold on to their top 5 and get one step closer to locking in a top 8 finish and our first playoffs in a very, very long time. The Cowboys can afford the loss. They'll be alright. But that's about all I've got, man. If you got anything to add, feel free to add.
Yeah, look, we'll be quick with this one. I need Curtis Morin to have a big game. Just picked him up on fantasy for like all those other players that I missed out on, all those cheap ones at the start of the season that are now worth heaps. Talking a little bit of fantasy here. What am I looking at here? I'm looking at a Cowboys team that are hungry to see some success this season. I got a Bulldogs team that I think just quietly, a lot of their performance, you got to give credit to Crichton and his leadership. Hey, there's got to be some shift in the locker room since his arrival that these boys have a lot of belief. Like, you see the way they hang in there on something. You haven't seen the Bulldogs get blown out this season. You haven't seen the Bulldogs give up at any moment in the season. In fact, and no one's kind of pinned it the same, but this Bulldogs team reminds me a lot of the 2023 Wars. Unpredictable. You didn't expect it at the start of the season, and here they are, just storming their way through the comp. I don't think they did it loud either. It was quiet. They had a few tough losses at the start of the season, but again, they were games they should have won. And then all of a sudden, it all just started to click, and it clicked more and more. And you got to really say that giving Crichton the captaincy was definitely the right call. He's out and out one of the most mature players I've ever seen, and for such a young guy, to be so mature at such a young age, you just like hats off to him. He's definitely shown his worth. I think what the Bulldogs paid for him, they got a deal, because you didn't just get a player, you got a team leader, someone that guides the boys off the field and metaphorically on the field. Burden's performance this season, been great. Definitely deserves, and hopefully he does get that Dalium 6 at the end of the season. Hopefully he doesn't get robbed by someone, but yeah, he deserves it, man. His performances this season have just been second to none. Unfortunate, actually, not to be playing Origin, but look, he might be able to put his name in the hat next season as one of the outright sixes. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Unless Luai really turns those Tigers around, I kind of don't really see Luai getting picked. And not saying he's a terrible player, I just think it's going to be hard for his performances to shine in a team like that. You know what I mean? It's hard to look good when you're rolling rubbish. So yeah, I'm leaning. Who am I actually leaning towards? Let's have a look at my TAB slip real quick. The Bulldogs. They're the underdogs, so let's go with the Bulldogs in this one. Good luck to the doggies. They do, like I said, had a huge casualty ward. You guys have more injured players than we do currently.
Sure.
Yeah. You have got 6 to our 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, that means you've got 8. 8 to our 5. So yeah, but well, Preston's back, so maybe you got 7 then. But you get Hutchison back in 2 rounds. I don't think you want him back. Addo Carr's back in 3 rounds. And the rest are all TBC, maybe not coming back. But that's all I've got for that. And speaking of the TAB, let's head over to the TAB, presented to you by 99 Dreams, baby. 99 Dreams. Empowering you to chase your dream, just one step at a time is all that it takes. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my multi for this weekend. I'm just doing head-to-heads because I'm lazy and cannot be bothered. And frankly, I haven't won anything, so I don't really care enough to put effort into these bets anymore, man. When you go like 0-26, do you want to keep playing? No. It's a dumb game. These are the realities of gambling, Fano. If you think this is promoting gambling, think again. I'm giving you the realities. I'm not saying, we're winning monies every game. No. I'm normally dead after the first game. So, gamble responsibly and take my picks with a grain of salt. I've gone Warriors, Rabbitohs, Knights, Panthers, Titans, Bulldogs, Storm. $10 pays out $777.75. Hey, Modi order.
God damn it. I'm just filling out the rest of mine, but since you took my head-to-head, I've gone with points, like combined points. Okay? It's kind of like the bets we're putting on the multi. I'm just about to finish up the rest of it. I'm currently up to the Penrith and Dolphins. Normally I give my predicted score for each round, but we didn't this time, so I'm just making this up as I go along. And I'm going to see which one I like. Yep, that one's I like. So we've got Canberra Raiders. We've got the Raiders against the Wars. I've gone with the combined score to be between 31 to 40. It's pretty much the one I've gone to for all of them. So I've done the same for the Rabbitohs Tigers because I think it's going to be like, I'm predicting 30 to 6. I'm hoping that's how close it is. Newcastle, Brisbane again, 31, 40 points. Maybe I've underestimated here. Storm, Roosters, I've gone between 41 and 50 points. Penrith, 31 to 40. What game am I on to now? What have I got? 2 games left. Sea Eagles, Titans can be quite a high scoring game, eh? That's what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Total markers. Do I think they're going to score between 50 points? The TAB seems to think so. 51 to 60 is only paying $3.30.
Shit.
I can get behind that. And then the last one, my Bulldogs. My Bulldogs don't ever give up 20 points. So if I'm thinking Queensland, the Cowboys are only going to score like 14, I think we've got more than like 26 points in us, which gets us to the magic number of 40. So where are you at total marker? Total. Oh my god, what happened to my cursor? We're going to go with that one. That $10 bet there. Get you a return of just under $180,000.
Surely you put it on, G. Surely you put it on. Pull the trigger,
I don't think
G.
it's going to come out as
Surely.
that much. Shit. We might have to pull
Surely.
it. Do I have
That's
like a
just
bonus
one
bet?
lunch. That's one lunch. I don't think you put
Oh,
bonus bets on
yeah,
multis.
true that. Oh, okay, never mind then.
Sacrifice
Well,
one
that's
lunch.
my bets. So that $10 gets us. Well, that gets us to the final, brother.
Hey.
Fucking book the limo, book the hotel.
And we'll be filming live from the hotel, overlooking the stadium, and our
Hell.
microphones like, yeah, buddy.
Never mind Hamilton. We're going all the way.
Bro, and then we can like bump into Uncle Woodamoo, get him on the show. We'll be like, Woodamoo,
No,
jump on the
mate.
potty with us, cousin.
Fuck, man. But yeah, that's my bet. We'll see. I might actually put it on.
Well, hey, look, that wraps up our show. It's been a long one. This took a lot longer. I think I went on a couple of tangents. That's probably on me. But it is what it is, all right? I'm just hyped. Like I said, this is recorded before the Origin, but the Origin comes before this in terms of the chronological order of the podcast. But anyway, I hope you guys had fun. We had fun. We're edging closer to episode 50. We're 3 episodes away now, I think it is. So
Ooh.
we're getting
Crazy.
ready. I think I'm gonna get a cheesecake or like a muffin. I'm putting a 50 in it. We're gonna blow out the candles. You need to get your cheesecake. Ladies and gentlemen at home listening around the world, get your cheesecakes. Have it ready to go, man. Celebrate 50 with us. This is a huge milestone, man. I don't think
This is.
we'd get to 50, but here we are at 50. I didn't, to be honest, I didn't know we were going to go, but we'll tell more about that, I guess, in episode 50. You get to episode 50, I think we'll take a break from the footy. We'll chop it up. You guys get to learn a little bit more about us, a little bit more about the kaupapa, and just listen to some stories. So stay tuned for episode 50, Whānau. I'm excited. I know Tu's excited. I hope you're excited because it's going to be a banger. But anyway, that's enough from me. I'm going to hand it over to Tu for the final word.
Yes, look, this has been a long episode like Rawiri said, so I won't keep you around too long. But again, as always, we just want to shout out our supporters, both near and far. We do love support, and anyone else thinking about coming over and joining the practice run. We are a community where we talk about things we love, mainly NRL. But yeah, man, come join us. Be a part of this community. Be a part of the conversation. Have your say. If you hate the Tigers, you're more than welcome to come on. If you like the Tigers, we'd love to hear why. Talk about your team, show who you support, talk smack about the players you don't like or the teams that you hate. If you don't like the Bulldogs, you're not welcome on this podcast. We'll not have Bulldog slander on it.
Same with the Broncos. No one can hate the Broncos but me.
Yes. But anyway, we will leave it there and we will see you next Tuesday for our review show. Until then, whānau, stay safe and cheer to the cheer. Mā te wā.